Look at you. You.
Okay. Okay, what just happened?
My coast is up here. Yes.
We're muted, right? You know that. Hi, Amy. How are
Hey, good, how are you?
Yeah. Sorry out there. Good to see people in the crowd.
Seven of us.
All right, we call this Village of Sodas Point in order, say the pledge of us. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic. Okay, roll call. Trustee Ashmont. Present. Trustee Madison.
Here.
Trustee Leon.
Here.
Trustee Noah.
Here.
Okay, I'm basically want to do approval of the minutes and then we're gonna kind of go out of order. Right after that, okay, just for a couple of groups. I think that will be a good thing to have them move up to the front of the meeting. So, and I think the board members have the meeting minutes in front of you. One is January 15th, regular meeting minutes. If you look at that.
Be approving for.
Yeah, I think that we had trouble with the C part of it.
The C.
If you look at that, that's the draft of it.
It's still missing. I mean, Amy's stand-in said that, you know, it was fine, everything we were doing as long as it's documented. As far as the de-icers, we need to list it, you know,
Okay,
he
yeah.
said as long as we die, so it should reflect it. It was, Dwight said we were fine doing what we're doing as long as it was documented.
Okay, so can we, yeah, we can approve it as long as we had, like, we talked about. And we have that, but I don't have it personally, I can get it.
Well, I mean, the minutes should reflect it as well as
Oh, okay,
Kevin was gonna work with Carly.
yeah, what, trustee William, what would you add to that?
I would say that, you know, the attorney suggested that, you know, our current process is good as long as it's documented. As long as the inspections are documented, I guess.
So do we gotta add that to it or?
Yeah.
just-
It
Okay.
says attorney agreed this is completely acceptable as the current process follows the village code.
As long as the inspections are documented.
So we gotta add that?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you wanna file a motion?
Well, do we need to actually amend it? And then submit it again for approval, or can we
Yes.
just?
Or
we can-
you could have a motion
With changes.
subject to the amendment.
Okay,
So make it better, yeah.
all right, then I would move, we approve the January 15th, 2026 village board meeting minutes with the addition of in paragraph C, after the sentence attorney Kenya agreed this was completely acceptable as the current process follows the village code, provided inspections are documented.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Carried? Good, thank you. And if you look at the 16th quickly, take a look at that and then. Like the motion. April 16th. Looks good.
I'll make a motion that we accept the April 16th minutes as written.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. And that's where we'll curveball and schedule. Yeah, I figured this would be a good time.
Yep.
So I think we'll go in order. We're gonna do the A and B if,
Yes.
okay. So the DN rental homes signature request. Like to address that first.
Darrell, do you wanna speak?
Sure. Come there.
It's up to you.
You can just
So
stand there if you
so
want.
everybody has in your packet, you have this right here. This is what Darrell's gonna talk about.
Oh.
Yeah, for the
Hello.
Hi.
We were just looking for permission to put up a 4x5 sign in front of our property for our Airbnbs that we redid. It's kind of like Free Schooners, very similar to theirs, right down the road.
Okay. Now, that's just a discussion for,
Is that a planning and zoning?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask.
It's on village property, so it has to go first to you guys.
Oh, and
Because we
then-
can't cross over boundary line or give permission without the village board.
Is that about the size that we can approve?
So you can have a 20 square foot sign per business unit, their business unit, so they're allowed to do it, but it has to have permission from village board to go on a public property
we do that first.
before I can do anything else.
Gotcha.
So where exactly on the property is it going?
You guys have,
Based on
you
the-
have a picture of it.
Let me see.
I don't.
It's pretty close to the Peace Garden, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean,
On
we're,
the hill from it, just past it, yeah.
But yeah.
They're across from the beach.
Yeah. Sign.
Was there a picture submitted?
yeah, but we've got a garden there too. I'd like to know where it's.
There's also a sign.
Yeah, past the garden, if you're going down the hill, just past the garden on the right hand side.
Okay, so be on the right of the sidewalk is what you're saying.
No.
We're on the left of the sidewalk, so it's past the garden, going down there.
It's
On the-
You'll have it on the north
Yeah.
side of the sidewalk.
On the north side of the sidewalk.
But not at the entrance to the facility?
About, or, but.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep where their sign.
That would be, that sign is facing the walkway there.
If their sign is maybe south in the garden, and his sign, he's talking about being on the side.
Yeah, right, that's where the garden here, is because you go down the hill, it'll be, double sided, facing this way, the sign she's talking about is on the walkway where they're actually facing like Bay Street.
So would it be parallel with the road or perpendicular to the road?
Perpendicular. People could see it as they drive by. Just like Three Schooners sign right there, it's very similar.
Is that
All Free
paved
Schooners?
area? Is that a paved area?
No.
No, in the grass.
Between.
Do you have the picture? Do you have the picture? Cause they didn't provide us the certain, like a site plan.
So it looks
He
like,
may have it in the
it
office.
looks similar to Three Spoon.
No, I mean, just that type of something, 5x4. And it just says the Lake House Television Point and phone number and.
Hopefully she.
Is it beyond your park, like the edge of your parking lot? Is it beyond it or is it right in line with it? To the east?
I look at
Just past the garden, I guess you could say, where.
She's
where
grabbing, she's grabbing
Yeah.
what's submitted. She'll have it.
Yeah,
I was just gonna look at Google Maps.
I'm just trying to look at it from above. I'm
How's
not,
business?
Good,
Good. You guys did a great job.
thank you.
Yeah. I was in there last
Beautiful,
July or whatever, where you guys had the open house.
because there's what, that big.
We had a management company, they weren't doing a great job, so.
I don't blame you.
Darrell, this is still a location here, right?
I was just gonna say, it was.
Oh, it's in the text message?
No. I probably can this up on the screen.
I'm sorry.
We could just pass it around if you want.
Yeah, Kevin.
It's
you
easier
pass
to
it
pass.
Here, Matt, I'm gonna text you
Okay.
this.
I know.
Here, Google it, we got it, Google, Google's got it better.
Sorry.
Okay, I see.
We want that here
All
too.
right, Matt, it's in your phone.
Okay.
Right there,
Yeah.
yeah.
So just,
That's what we need.
Not the board.
That's fine.
I.
well, they have it on that.
So here's the parking lot right away.
Yeah,
And then the Bay Street's gotta be.
yeah, no, I know where the, yeah. you know where the-
Well, you guys own the gardens.
Right around here.
Every day is the hard place.
You guys own our sign, the sign for, the war. I'm not sure you wanna put another sign on the grass in front of the garden.
It's awfully close to that peace garden.
You wouldn't need the garden at all, beyond the garden.
I know it's beyond the garden.
Is it gonna affect, you said you got, permission from the park? From Kathy, did that go through you?
No, I don't know.
No, I think he's referring to Friends of Willow Park,
Yeah.
but we referred him to you. Like, you could, if the Grace's, like,
Alright.
okay, sure.
That's not gonna impact your new plan and all the. Alright.
It's-
Alright.
Why couldn't we go?
No, but you're
the
spending a lot of
west
money
side?
at a park right now, we hate to
Peace Park.
interject something in there that you didn't.
Can we go to the west side of that Peace Park?
Right at the edge of your
I
drive
mean, I know
in.
there's a tree there, but could we go to the
That's
west?
not me.
Cause that's actually showing where people would be pulling in to me.
Yeah, I mean, the other one looks like
I
an
would think that would be a
afterthought
better spot.
here.
I'm fine with either one.
To the
So
west.
that's them driving in and then this is
So it's
the,
right near your driveway.
wait, this is
You know what I
the
mean? I think
peace
it's-
garden, that's a tree.
Cause it looks, the other.
Here's the sign for the peace garden, it's a crappy,
Yeah.
They
would say
wanted-
that was-
he wanted to do it here.
I mean, it's, yeah, that's the edge of his parking lot, I mean,
Yeah. I would do it at the west side.
you know, as long as it's within the front and the front of his frontage, I mean.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
I don't see it here.
I mean, there's a lot of people that
That's
use
the-
that, I mean, you guys included that use that old right of way down,
I'm.
there used to be a trolley line.
Yeah, I do.
Yes,
South side of
yeah,
that
yeah.
road,
Front of the
you know,
property.
So like over here.
people up here using the, you know, they use their own parking with post office, I mean. As they for their parking on their parcels, so I mean, as long as it's in front of this,
It would make sense to me if somebody was looking for it and the sign was right there where you drove in, it'd be like, okay, here it is. And if they see the sign, they've already passed it,
Yeah.
essentially.
That's fine with me.
yeah, so what is the purpose, I mean, is the purpose of how people find the facility, is that what you're thinking with the sign?
So they know where it's at. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And advertising.
Yeah,
So Charlie, you're okay with the west side then? All right, let's have a, so,
yeah, it makes sense, I mean, it's,
motion,
Motion to put the.
I motion we allow Dina properties.
In the motion. be
Okay,
it
just
just
use- this is possible.
You want me to do it? or you want me to?
Yeah. you-
I motion that we, give D and M Properties the, permission to put a sign in the village right away on the western,
west side.
on, well, the eastern side of their driveway, within the limits of their right of way, in front of their property, and not to extend beyond, the frontage of their property, but close to their entrance as possible to have safe egress without blocking, traffic, the sight line of traffic coming and going from the property. To facilitate people finding the facility as they come into the village.
And then, so Kevin, do they have to also, does he have to say that we're sending it on, to send it on to planning or no?
No, that's just.
Yeah, with.
We just,
I
you
second.
have to approve it?
I second. I second.
So
Cover
you've got
everything.
the wording just east of their
Drive.
driveway
East of the
entrance.
entrance of their driveway, within the limits of their frontage on their property.
That's a better spot.
Well,
Yeah,
That's a way better spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
All right, okay.
Village.
Yeah, I second it, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So
Carried.
Oh,
Off to the other.
oh,
that's another question. I'm not trying to throw a wrench into it, I was just, John. So,
are we sure it's?
so that's the only question I have. That's why the east was like the work.
What's the,
That's the only question.
Apparently there's a state right away and it's not the village.
It's
So that's the only question I have. So
So I guess we need to do a,
I think that's the only question. Can we give?
Good catch,
I mean,
Kevin.
we cannot give permission to be in the state right away.
Cause if we get to remove it and then it's gonna be
On
on
the
us.
east side of
Yeah.
that thing?
That's why the
We
east,
don't know.
east work.
No, it's state road until you get to Bay Street extension.
So if we do the
So it
east. we
wouldn't
can-
matter if it was downhill, it's still. state.
Okay.
East we can do, west I'm worried
Well-
if he has to remove it, then it's gonna be on us. To have to remove it.
How do you say that again?
So if he does it on the east, it's our property. On the west, it's state's property.
State
So if regional comes in and tells him to remove it, we gave permission. I don't know what happens then.
Well, we
Do they
can't give
maintain-
permission to put it in the state right away.
Do they maintain?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So if
was
that's-
right away.
So that's what that box means?
But his.
No, it's,
His-
so if you see the.
His
It jog- it
his
jogs.
driveway, what, I mean, is the driveway literally on state property? His driveway?
Yeah. it's-
All of those,
Our
all of them
places are all
through there.
state right away.
Yeah.
So that's the only.
The post office, saying all the properties between the
So, I
four
mean,
corners in
we
there.
just Can't give permission.
right.
I mean, it's going off a tax map. I mean, what's the actual deed say?
For state route,
Yeah,
14.
because I mean, we don't look over until
14?
until Bay Street
That's
extension.
14. Yeah, 14. you-
14 and
Well, they bring it to there and then.
It goes all around through and back up, yeah.
Oh.
But now it stops at Bay Street extension.
So the east side would be not a problem. This could be a quagmire.
Right.
Well, we're saying it's not a problem based on the tax map, but it's.
I mean,
So it's a worst
I
case
just
scenario,
think the
you would
east
have to take it
side,
down.
east of the Peace Garden just looks
Yeah, it's not good.
randomly put there.
Yeah.
And past where if somebody's coming into town, you wanna catch them.
Yeah.
Well, they catch them by your
Right near the
driveway.
driveway. So I mean, worst case
State
scenario,
right-
is that, I mean, they're gonna tell them to take it down?
So you could, sure.
But it has nothing.
So
to do with
regional-
us.
Right, well, I'm just saying, like, would you be, I mean, could we say okay, and then the state comes in, tells him he's gotta take it down, he's gotta take it down?
We have nothing to say. about
We,
whether
yeah, we don't need
it's okay or
to,
not.
we
They don't
don't
say
have
nothing,
to
then
move at
you're-
all, if.
Why do we,
Well, I think at that point, we just stay out of it.
right,
Mhm.
but if they say something.
Yeah, but are we creating a
It is.
litigation situation where we just allowed somebody, we give them?
Well, you can,
Well, we can't.
Yeah, we
We
can't allow
can
some.
we rescind that?
Okay.
So he came in here for an application to put it on the east side.
Right.
So that's the decision that you all have to make. That's a yes or a no decision. And so you all have expressed your preference to have it on the other side, but it sounds like that might not be within our purview to mandate that or allow it.
So Spooner's Landing has theirs in the state right away too. Do you know how that happened, Kevin?
I'd have to look, without doing research, I don't know. I don't know if it's something we've permitted or if that was put in, because Schooners was built like I came in when Schooners was already built and I did the final inspection on it. So was the sign there? I'd have to do the research and find out for you.
I mean, you might be able to get
I know.
a permit to do it. I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Regional DOT issues those permits, they might have gone to DOT. I'd have to do research and find out how they did it. And if regional comes through, they're supposed to come through every year and send a letter to remove. So if they haven't done that, they probably.
It would be removed already.
It already would have been removed.
Yeah.
Because it's been up.
But
long.
I think, you know, if that has been up for that long.
I agree,
I
I don't think
think we're all right.
the state's gonna have an issue unless they have to widen the road or something.
Well, but I think we need to, so if the request is to the village to put it on the village property. And you all are saying, no, we don't want it on the village property, that's gotta be the motion, right?
Yeah,
And
I mean, we
You can
prefer it over
say-
there. We
you
prefer-
can say you prefer it on the other side and perhaps we could put the gentleman in touch with DOT to figure out what that process, I'm sure there is a process.
Yeah, for sign permits at regional. Yeah, I can hang it up. And then,
I'm just trying to problem solve,
Yeah, no,
whatever you guys wanna
yeah.
do.
So maybe have them go to the state first?
On the flip side, I mean, I can go to the state, but on the flip side, I'm just I guess, give you another perspective. If you're driving down the hill and you're worried about the park, sign on this side might block block the gardens. Put it on the east side. We're already in town.
There's a tree before that, so you got distance. Isn't there a tree, then some space, then the peace garden?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the peace garden is
You think
already.
it's gonna be beneficial to you to put it over there?
I
Just,
just-
if we're talking 15, 20 feet, and it's not a huge difference. I'm just thinking, if you're driving into town, and if you're concerned about the garden, everybody's gonna see the garden, then it's not, and the sign in front of it's gonna block it.
If anything, with the two trees there, the one on the one side of the garden and the one on the other, your sign, poor sign on the village property would be hidden until the last minute, if you look at it, at least what I'm looking at here. Yeah, I'm-
Darrell, what about,
It's 50
I can't
feet.
speak for them,
Yeah,
but that,
the driveway
can you come up
to
here real
our
quick?
property.
Too?
how much is it?
52 feet
52 feet from the,
So this spot here,
Driveway.
from the west side to
that
the,
just looks.
from
like-
the west side to the
There's something-
east side of the peace garden, be 50.
well, that's just to the property line.
Is that-
Okay.
It's actually, more than it. 6 feet.
Well, I'm just saying, so they can
Right
vote on.
right on the edge of his.
They can-
parking
No, it's not.
I mean,
Well, if it,
Here.
yeah.
The island.
Oh my God, it's half and half.
Tucking it back in, and then John would have to comment on the site clearance. But with state DOT, usually with 30-mile-per-hour zones, if everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing, the state doesn't consider sight lines.
Piece.
So if they put the sign on the island here, it doesn't infringe on this, and at least come out the hill, you can see it. So I can't speak for the board, but at least they could.
Put it this.
Yeah, I mean, I mean,
Yeah, I know now.
So what about on this island?
I would just do it.
Oh, yeah.
Put it
What
on-
about, Kathy, what about down here? So this last parking.
Well, put it on the.
There's the island for the.
I would just do it.
where the-
You're in the, I mean, to me, that looks like it's signage for the park or
So if you're
something.
coming out, you could see this sign, then our building,
Yeah.
so you would see that.
Well, they gotta do
Coming into
something.
Sodas Point, they're coming up the hill.
That's just a suggestion, I can't.
Yeah,
speak for it, so-
I guess I'm not in favor
Would you mind
of
if,
that. I would be okay with
mind
the
anything?
sign on the edge of your
We don't know.
entrance.
Okay. You know nothing.
okay,
It's not.
All right, so there's one other element here. I've been reading through our new code 190 changes, and we're gonna have to have all signs within the new code compliance if we pass it the way it is within 3 years. Is this gonna stand in 3 years after we approve code 190, or is he gonna have to take it out?
That's in the state right away.
if it's approved, if it's in the state right away, we have nothing to say about
Yeah.
it.
But it's in the village on that.
If it's in the village,
That's in our
we'd
limit.
be grandfathered.
No, it actually, our code, I don't,
We
Does
can't
our
comment,
code
we
now-
can't, no, so he's talking about the new code, we can't
Oh.
comment about a potential code, cause that has to go through public hearing.
well, it's not a matter of commenting. It's in the code right now. We haven't approved it, but he's gotta be aware of it, so we're not sitting here 3 years from now. We go and approve that code and then 3 years from now.
I know, but you're talking about a potential new code.
So how big
Yeah.
is the sign?
Yeah, we
So
can't
the
comment.
point is, if it was approved now under the existing law, it would be grandfathered once the law changes.
It's not how the law.
No, I know, but what Phil's talking about is the potential.
I don't know what the law says right now about signage.
Yeah.
But like right now, whatever is approved currently is what we operate under.
That's
The problem is the way it's
Within
written.
the state.
It's coming, and it's coming
Right?
whether we
have a
can,
lot
we
of
can change.
changes that we have to do it according to the.
It just takes the time to spend 1,000, getting our 2,000 outside, it's gotta rip out 3 years.
Yeah, that's what.
You wouldn't have to because it would be grandfathered.
So if it's in the state right away, we can't, even if we
No.
change our codes. So he's fine.
Right.
He's gonna put it in the state right away.
But you're talking about size difference.
Yeah, he wouldn't have.
As long as it conforms to the new code,
He's in
it'd
the
be all right.
state,
If it doesn't conform to the new code, it wouldn't be, and I'm not sure if it does or doesn't, I just think.
He'd be grandfathered if it's approved now.
But he's gonna go in the state.
Yeah.
Like if it got knocked over or
I'm just
something
saying.
and he had to
it's not the
rebuild
way
it.
It's written.
So can somebody rescind this motion?
I'll resend it.
Yeah.
I think you're good.
Yeah.
I won't worry about it.
The other one's been there for years, so.
Everyone agrees with the lease.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
I agree. I agree.
Sorry, Karen, we were trying to get that done for you.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Oh. And now, into the presentation, and welcome Friends of Willow Park. Lori, and then where do you want to?
Fred is going to have a presentation that's gonna come up online, so if we can find it up there, it should show right up.
Fred, I'm gonna make you host so you can share your screen. Just
Okay, sounds great.
give me a second to do that.
While you guys are doing that, I'll introduce my board members. This is Josh, our president. Shayna Pilliger, our delighted. My vice, our vice president. Katie Tierney, she's been a member working with us on grants. Elaine Alice, she's a member working on grants and anything else. Fred, is our treasurer. Then Hovius, and he's the greatest treasurer ever. And his wife Jeannie, who helps us anytime there's a leftover, she came to the special things, the event we had last. Whenever, it was in March. Anyway, so, we would like to say a special thanks to JT Storage, Property Brothers, and all the other volunteers we had for Willow Park cleanup. We had 101 total hours. Every part of that park was touched. The sidewalks were washed, the curbs were cleaned. We vinegared everything once. We'll be vinegaring again. Bartuka and her children come and do that. And so that part of it's all good. The playground is functioning and it is close to perfect for a really, really old playground. That playground is close to seeing the end of time. So that's why we're here. I'm going to turn this over now to Fred Weekman, and Fred's going to talk, and Fred is the vice president of Game Time Marketing and Sales, I believe. And go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong on that. He's worked with us for the 4 years we've been in line. For the board members that are new here and don't know much about what's going on with the park, this is a good chance to do it. I want you to know that this is solely to go for the grant, but Fred's going to talk about the process. Our process is going to go, each month we will have a report for you and we will send a representative to the meeting, and we'll request time if we need to bring you up to date on something. There will be a final plan that you'll approve for each leg of this. So, if you approve the grant process tonight proposal, which I put in your packet late, and I apologize for that. We will get going. We're pretty close to being able to make that match. Actually, we're beyond the match for the playground. We've got a little ways to go on the restrooms, and so we'll talk about that too. So Fred, take her away.
Lori, thanks for the opportunity and thanks for letting me be a part of this great project. For those of you that may not know, my family actually has been in the area, Sodas Point, since 1893. So it's been a place for my family for a long, long time. So it's a privilege to be a part of a project of this scale. As Lori mentioned, I'm the vice president of marketing and product development. That was really close, Lori. And I've been working with Game Time for over 16 years. We are the largest recreation manufacturer in the country. We sit under the umbrella of Playcore, so we have a wide array of data and research to support what we're going to be proposing and what we have proposed over the last couple of years, as Lori mentioned. Today, I'm just going to focus on in this. This was the master plan, again, done years ago, but number 1 and number 3. So we'll kind of go through just kind of to give a sense for those that may not have seen the presentation in the past. But this was done, again, through a lot of hard work with the village, Sodas Point to really define what the goal of this park would be. And so I'm going to start just by talking about the phase one approach here, and we'll kind of go through the design. But the main intent, so again, don't get caught up with getting the basketball courts or the pavilions or the gas station that's across the street. But the goal here is that we're focusing on building an inclusive park for all ages and all abilities. Game Time is the heart of what we do. We love to see communities build a place where it's obviously serving the community members, but it can serve a region of where this type of park will draw people of all ages and families of all abilities to it, where they may not have access to a park like this. So I congratulate Sodas Point on the work that they're doing to create an experience like this. And what we see in all around the country when this is done, this just activates a community. It brings in opportunity to increase revenues of storefronts and restaurants. And it will be a beacon, a place again where families that may not have access to a place like this to come and enjoy, and especially again the residents and those like myself that come year in and year out to Sodas Point. So the theme again here is access for all. And so no matter where you're at on the park, the goal is that we're bringing the history and the significance of obviously the boating and the water that's all around Sodas Point, but then also the farming and the rich heritage there. So we're bringing the thematic elements into each part of the park here. And then of course the lighthouse, and be able to theme, and we can really draw on some unique elements. Again, this design was done I guess three and a half years ago now. And so we can create and adapt, and just showing you here as final budget dollars are brought in, grant funding is brought in, we can scale the project, meet the budget goals, make alterations, and get to the final design once that final budget is secure. So this just shows you how we can swap parts, colors, all sorts of things to create that scale. So this is just another angle to kind of show you the overview of the park. Access on all fronts, easy to come off the sidewalk, off of the main road, and then also from the new parking lot, providing access. There won't be ridges or humps to get over if, again, a child or a caretaker, and this is the big misnomer too, is we're not just focusing on the children that may have challenges, we're focusing on the adults and grandparents, and we want access for all to create that experience. So what you'll see is the poured surface is a fully attenuating surface, and it allows, again, no lips or curbs between the concrete. It creates that unitary surface, and then bringing that thematic element really, again, brings the imagination and life to children, and creates that unique experience. So we're not just focused on the physical, we're focused on the whole child, which means sensory, cognitive, and all the elements that a child might need. We even have, you can see in the very foreground there, a communication sign for children or adults that might need help explaining where they'd like to go on the playground. And it gives them visual cues and places that they can go around the park. We have access, you can see even products where a child can roll into that sensory wave experience and rock with their friends. They can slide down the sensory wave slide. So all kinds of unique experiences. Those children that love to climb and need more advanced climbing experiences, we've got, again, the goal is that there's something for everyone to do in the park. Thinking about the design here with the tower, again, under deck areas for children and above deck experiences. This is a fully accessible design, which is unique to Game Time. Again, allowing a caretaker to gain access to a child that may be up and want to come down and need help. You can see there's a wide ramp, again, for all ages and all abilities to travel up to the top. A lot of times there's tight openings, you might not be able to get to a child easily, and this provides access for all. And then, of course, a great sliding experience for the child. You can see there's the color changes, so we can make the color palette whatever color the village wants. And that will create, again, a dynamic experience to change the colors and meet those goals. So just kind of rolling through, bringing theming in. Love the boating experience with the rock and raft, children and adults swinging together. We can see we have the expression swings down the far side where a parent-child can be face to face, We've seen children that have not been able to get into a swing before to swing with their caretaker at the same time instead of getting pushed from behind. Allowing those on the zip line to be properly harnessed in and create that experience for child or adult that may not have upper body mobility to do that. And then little playful experiences, again, roll on whirls, and then again, providing that heritage of what the community is known for as well, with farming. So great project. We're really pleased to be a part of it. I think the other points that Lori wanted me to point out is that I think the goal would be obviously to demo the park, to leverage the resources there in the village to do the proper grading, have complete access in the spring, and for us to really, we can then do all the drainage necessary. We can tie into the existing drainage, make sure that all the water runs where it's supposed to go. The poured in place surface is also able to take the drainage, and we'll have drainage underneath the park to make sure that the spot is always dry. And we have expertise in the turnkey service of the park. So, the great thing about what we're able to provide is you're not working with another company for the surfacing or any shade structures or anything like that. Everything is turnkey through our product or through our company. And so if there's an issue, you have one person to call. You're not trying to call 4 or 5 different companies. We also have certified installers and are on state contracts for installation. And then our awarded contract, we are on the state contract as well. And so procurement is very simple and easy. The products have already been bid out through a professional process. And Lori and team did a great job in securing, in addition to what we typically do with our contract pricing. We're able to go deeper with some funding from Game Time on, for example, for this tower. This tower, for example, will be able to provide matching funds for that tower structure, and that will offset some significant costs on the equipment side. So again, leveraging the contract and the purchasing process really reduces stress on procurement and makes that very easy. And then the application has already been, again, secured for the funding for the equipment side from a Game Time perspective. So as soon as the village is ready, we're ready to jump in and help. Again, we can offer access to provide the stone for the surfacing, but I know obviously the Village of Sodas Point has access to those types of services. So wherever the budget can be reduced and we can work with partners, we will decide what services we do and what services we lend to the village to handle as well. So very excited for this project. As we get going, it would be something where we would place the order this year, and then be installing when the weather turns. For poured in place rubberized surfacing, the weather needs to stay above a certain temperature to properly cure. So we would wait for spring to complete the install and then have the site ready for summer of 2027 if, again, all the funding goes appropriately. So Lori, I don't know if there's anything else you'd like me to go through, but that's my brief presentation.
Unless someone from the board has a question for Fred.
No, just the theme, and I like the John Deere look of the slide. I just want to comment on that. Cute. Apropos.
Very cool.
So he mentioned, I have a ton of questions, but I'll just ask one. He mentioned he mentioned stone. Is that, but the surface I thought is a synthetic surface.
Yeah, it's underneath the synthetic poured surface. There'd be like a crushed stone, aggregate stone that we do for proper drainage and that sort of thing. But those things I was just kind of mentioning on the cost side, it's often whether or not we're going to do complete turnkey or whether or not the village wants to do certain parts. So as a partner with the village, we can decide which makes sense and what we want to do when we get to the final budget.
And towards the end of the year,
But
I mean, that would be
So we would be doing
before winter.
our plan is to start sometime around the 21st of September. You go through the whole season, we broke that off or.
But the MOU, the MOU is 0 expenses to the village, so.
Right,
we would
right,
have-
right.
We have to
Right.
change, we would have to change something.
Well, here's what here's what's going on. For the New York Place grant, it says very clearly, you have to be able to show a deed for the property. We applied for our SFS number, we had all of that, but we're afraid that that's gonna turn us down because we don't own the property, and it says very clear that you have to have site control over the project location, and that, but we're going to enter into all the contracts and we pay for all the costs. So basically, we can work out the funding of it, like if we give you all the bills, and Fred would be really good about that, because his record keeping is excellent. And we will certainly work together, then we would bring that, if you want to cut a check for just the amount that comes out of the New York Place, we'll have the match for it with that. And we can also use the match, such as for the driveway or the parking lot that we just did on the village part with the restroom part in the pavilion. We can use the figures from that. So we had about $70,000 when I was on the board in estimated expenses that was approved. But you can also take all the time and talent that was used to prepare that, from drainage that Phil and some of the guys and Matt did for the drainage portions of it and that sort of thing. That's all a match. So if we put a figure to that, and we can come up with a good figure because we got a pretty good idea of how much time was spent on it, that would become the match for that, because it was done after the 25th or in 2025. It can't be too old, can't be too young. So for instance, the plan can be deducted from Barton and LaJudas for the playground, but the swings and stuff we bought cannot be deducted, but we are planning to use those because they're brand new. They were 2 years old. The rest of the park, however, is 30 years old. And we have restored a lot of it to a point where it can be used, but you can still see the hairline cracks in it. When we washed it, you can definitely see it. And we had the inspector from Play Corp and Game Time come and look at it, and it's all safe for this year, but you know, how long it's gonna last, I'm not sure. We've milked it for the last 4 years. So what we're looking for tonight is for a motion to allow us to submit this grant through the village as the municipal part. And then if we're lucky enough to get the grant, then we would have money, and it's a 2.50, I believe it was. 2.25. Thanks, Jeff. 2.25 million that we're going to ask for. And we've got the restroom pavilion stuff being worked on by Hunt, and that's around $900,000 right now. The actual figures are in the report I prepared. And then we're looking at about 1.3 million for the playground Game Time program. Thank you.
Are you doing something with the information center too? Or is it staying?
When we write the grant, if we have the authority to do that, that's what I would like to do.
It
But
looks like it was redone.
For the purpose of this, I wanted to keep it focused on the playground. And then the restrooms, if we can get everything pulled together in time, and I think we might be able to build in the spring. So that pretty quickly after that playground is built, or maybe at the same time, if it all comes together right, we would be able to put that up at the same time. That would be the ideal. But the playground, we would like to see open by Memorial Weekend of 2027. So we'll put a treasurer's report in, and the funding that we have with the match. If we buy by the end of the year, we get that match. That should be some incentive for our fundraising as well as our future fundraising.
So
Yes.
whenever we've had a grant before, it always goes through me.
Yeah.
So then it's gonna. That's all totally different. This is
Yeah.
different than what the original, so I just been trying to figure out what's gonna.
Well, we can work with the accounting service to do that. It shouldn't be real tough because it's under.
It would be the clerk.
And if you
treasurer
wanna
rather than
pay the
just
bills,
appoint.
we're okay with that.
Well,
That
That's
comes
tough,
from the New York Forward.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the
I-
village
this is a
takes
whole
out the
different-
grant,
this is
then
a
the
whole
village
very
would be
different-
responsible for.
I feel like.
Submitting
we-
something.
we would- And you said the 15th, I don't know, Amy, is there
Gotta
a
be
way
by
that
the
we can talk about this?
So-
and
so what if it-
adjust it for a minute?
If you're wanting,
You're
What-
saying, you're
what's
saying
the-
that we have to pay it up front and then we get reimbursed.
you would have had to with the New York Forward grant.
Well, if they get it, no, what she's saying, they get it grant. Because.
It would be the village getting the
They're
grant.
gonna go, yeah, it's gonna, the village is gonna do it, they're gonna
So I just-
supply the money. and-
We're gonna have to
This is all-
sign a contract. The
Something
village is gonna have to
different.
sign a contract for
That's
something.
correct.
So
You're gonna have to sign, just like I did with the New York Forward grant. You would sign the letter and the grant application. Then it would go through the process. The checks will be made out to the village for the New York Forward grant. We're responsible for the match, which it will say in there, because it's gonna have a partnership with us. In fact, I think the motion.
But it also, so like all the other stuff, it would become the villages. And then the match would be your Friends of Willow would give the village of Sodas Point all of your match money. And that would become.
Match
that,
or in-kind
that's
service,
all-
in-kind service.
And this is, so this
Yeah.
is different than, I mean,
Right,
it's
well,
very different than the
we were hoping
original
that we-
contract.
it's doable.
I know it's doable, but also.
What do you think? I think it's full feedback.
Well, just in
Well-
reverse, correct?
This is
Like, when we were supporting the village on the New York Forward grant.
If we're not.
They're
paying
gonna
anything.
support us.
But if it's the villages, then we have to follow our protocols for.
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
well, ultimately, the village would be responsible to the state, like would have to sign the contract.
But it would,
And be responsible to the state for submitting the paperwork for, doing the grant, like all those things.
But we're
And-
saying we're gonna do.
No, I'm not, I'm just explaining it to them. I'm not arguing. They need to understand like what the village's process is. So as long as the village understands what its responsibility would be. It looks like I just got the memo of understanding right before this meeting. But it looks like we would need to amend that to address a couple of like process things, but also extend out the end date, because this has an end date of June 1, 2026.
Kathy and I put together the extension and
yeah.
we've got extension.
I think there is an
That is-
extension.
there is an extension.
There are
It
three.
goes to 27.
Okay.
It goes to 27, yeah,
And then
June
But,
of 20.
probably
Okay,
just one
okay.
year.
but also this change, I mean, this changes more than just that.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
changes, it changes.
I'm just trying to comprehend this, I'll tell you. I've
Yeah,
got questions
I mean-
about. I saw the thing flickering back and forth between different options. I saw the splash pad again.
Yeah, I
We
didn't
can
see
get
that.
going on that. There's no splash pad.
Yeah, there's no splash pad. That's no splash pad in the design. It was, that was in the background. It wasn't meant to be in any of the slides, but yes, there's no splash pad.
In that case.
just want to chime in about that.
Oh,
because
the hunt, that's what,
We recently, we met with, the design architect, I think it's Sam, from Game Time, and we met with her back at the end of April, because I also had some concerns about the layout of the playground. Many of you know, I have a child with special needs, so we go to playgrounds often. We saw one of these towers out at North Road Wookett, and so brought up some concerns, but also the splash pad has been a big concern of many people in the village, so we nixed that, like.
This
I
still has, well, that's what, I mean,
Okay,
still
but
has
it's-
splash pad in here.
No, let's just stick to the procedure. and the thing.
Unfortunately, people get so hung up on that, and that was fixed like 2 years ago. So I understand it's, I get it, just cross it out.
26.
Just cross
We
it
can,
out.
we can exclude
Just
that in
cross
the
it.
motion as long as there's no splash.
Okay, just cross it off. and
Yeah.
So we have a time window.
Fine idea.
Yeah, look,
This has not been set in stone. We're working with the design architect to come up with something, more concrete, because again, we have this rendered image that still shows the splash pad. And that's not going. So we
Right, take it out.
recently also changed, we went with.
We can just put it in the verbiage.
Yeah.
So some of this, so there have been changes since this was made, and we unfortunately don't have new visuals to show.
For instance, the Cornell Cooperative Extension has offered to help us with rain garden, putting it all together on a volunteer and to help us do that when we go to do it. So that's a great thing. We have over $80,000 worth, and it might be a little more now, in-kind services coming in from the trucking of the equipment to the layout of the drainage from Grandpa's. I mean, we have a lot of good things going. We're well positioned for this grant, but we don't own the property. And we have to show, now, if there's a way to do that, I'm okay with us owning it for 4 years or 2 years till we get it done. But I don't. think we
That
wanna
would
do
take,
that.
literally take an act of the legislature. Just so you know, like, the state cannot.
How do other municipalities do this? You know, because we can't be the only ones going for this playground grant. So
Yeah.
what's the normal protocol? What, all right, so the solution is out there. It's, we're not trying to do anything new or.
No, I think you can both
Yeah.
apply for the grant.
So
I think it just needs to be really clear who's responsible for administering the grant, you know what I mean? And that the village isn't incurring any money
right.
associated with this at all, because
Right.
nothing's budgeted.
And we can put that in the motion too.
Well, just
So,
Welcome to all tax things. Except like the administrative costs.
So-
Which it is a village park, so.
can you
I think it's-
timeline, and are you applying with this bathroom, which this is, I know we've talked about it and we have a need for it. But, you know, I've seen nothing about that and, you know, is that gonna be thrown in there or is it a separate thing? So this grant that you're applying for, or we're applying for potentially, is the bathroom included in that?
Yes, it would be, and a pavilion. So that part of it is in there. So, and that's going off the Barton Judas quote for the playground. And the Barton Judas was modified by Hunt
yeah, that
with some different.
it's in here. It says, what it would be expected construction budget for the building and shelter based on previous grant application. So it does have it.
So it's still Barton and LaJudas's thing, but we can get it for a lower price. We're trying to reduce the cost and still get everything that we need. And so, that's just basically where we're at. All I'm really looking forward for right now is a motion and a second authorizing municipal support of the 2026 New York Plays Grant application process, including the letter of intent, pre-qualification materials, and application submission is respectfully requested because of eligibility requirements submitted by the Village of Sodas Point in partnership with Friends of Willow Park, Inc.
So I'll just also say, I have the application, I looked at the application. It is correct that because the village owns the property, we would have to be involved in applying for this grant. That also brings into play responsibilities on the part of the village.
The way I see it, is if they're bringing something to us that we're not paying for. We can do a little bit of cost that it takes to help manage.
I appreciate that. That's kind of where I was at.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
we're getting a brand new bathrooms, we're getting,
You guys
or people are gonna come.
Yes.
That's what we need.
Well,
As long
It's
as
gonna help
there's no,
draw people here, and I think
Absolutely.
it's.
and
it's just
I
fine.
think it sounds like a great project. I think
We got,
all I'm concerned about is that you understand what the village's role would be. That's all I care about.
and
And
I'm very,
also,
that's whatever we have to do.
Well, we're
Like-
with you, however, we just ask that you help us to get past this hurdle. That's where
You need us to get the grant.
Well,
Yes.
and if
We
we get
do.
the grant, while we're doing that, we're gonna be, working on all the plans for the park. Our fundraising is gonna be.
Well, we gotta get the grant first.
But we gotta
Well,
get.
I think we gotta keep in mind that we may need, if they don't get the grant, we may need them to get the New York Forward grant
Right.
on the next round. So I think it'd behoove us, I mean, to pass up a grant opportunity. I mean, we were gonna spend this money if we got the New York Forward grant. That was a big part of it. So I mean,
And if
I think we gotta support them. I mean,
Yeah.
I always go back to when, you know, there's been some pushback on the playground and the dollars spent, but our New York Main Street grant, which is our economic study, I mean, you know, it says our customer base here is aging demographics with a median age of Sodas Point residents over 60. The local customer base patterns may not be sustainable in the future as residents continue to age. Diversifying the customer demographics towards a lower age cohort and higher discretionary spending levels will help bolster the business revenue. So I mean, it's kind of an integral part, you know, and this is right from our New York Main Street grant.
Finding which playground we're going to. Right now, it's Gravino Park at Palmyra, because it's beautiful. You know where we're not coming to anymore? Sodas Point. We've got a new park in Lyons, we've got Gravino Park, we've got, North Rose Woolgate,
North
has a
Rose
beautiful
Woolgate,
park.
So let me continue here. So our limited growth projections, and this is right out of our study, we got a $50,000 grant for it. Based on recent demographic patterns, there's no indication that the downtown visitor volume or customer base will substantially grow without direct interventions. Enhancing the retail options and the number of businesses in downtown area will rely on the expanding customer base to support the new businesses. If we're gonna bring a younger clientele in here, we gotta have something to do.
Especially with the basketball.
So,
with the-
And this is right in the middle. So, yeah, they come to the park, they play, they go out to lunch, they go for an ice cream fun. Yeah, it's all intertwined. I mean,
They're buying games.
yeah, I can't think of another project we can do right in the middle of our village that's gonna.
And it's really
lower
not costing the
demographic.
village anything. Really, just a little time.
as long
Yeah.
as we're, like, whatever motion you all make
Yeah.
regarding this, not my place. Make sure that you set a clear expectation about what the village's involvement will be in this. And that, you know, you'll work cooperatively with Friends of Willow Park. But just understand that the village will have to administer the grant.
The administrative costs, could that be counted as part of the in-kind? Or the match?
I don't know, to
Um,
be honest with
Okay,
you.
so.
are we confident that we have?
Yeah, if we log it, there's no reason it shouldn't be, but I will check with the people that are in charge of the grant and see if that is considered an in-kind service. I know trucking is, I know that the people that were working in the parking lot was.
You would think that
So we
would be.
would think,
Uh,
accounting and things like that
Yeah.
were part of it.
But how close are we to the in-kind though? Do you know, is it 20, you know? John, do you have an idea where we landed with but we put a lot of man hours in prep and stone in that hard.
Right, and what do you consider is?
Well, every payroll, every man hour, you know,
Yeah.
and then, you know, of course, the volunteer work that went into it
Yeah.
too. So, I mean, are we at 70,000? We at 90,000? You know,
Was that included in your financial?
well, she wouldn't know it because we just did it. So if they,
Oh,
our
we have
original,
a printout
our-
of financial.
yeah, our original, the asphalt was
I don't know
70,000.
what's in it.
So the original was 70. Even, you know, it's a little, it's not material cost, and then we didn't put some more time in it, so we probably had like 6 extra days in there, I'd say, with
So
doing.
considerably another 10 grand
Yeah,
probably.
and that's 2 guys.
And we
You
didn't
guys
have
just don't
any labor put in before.
So yeah, well, it's actually more in kind here than.
Yeah.
Plan, so.
Would, I mean, the in-kind folks, you know, you mentioned grandpas or whatever, I'm sure they're on the list, but I mean, it would have to be a legitimate. I mean, there would be,
We got the ESL grant based on what we submitted. I can submit.
okay, Well, I'm just thinking, you know, if you had somebody that. You probably don't, but some fly-by-night guy that doesn't have an insurance policy that wants to.
Oh, everybody's
offer-
Everybody will be insured. I have something to say. I'm a taxpayer of Sodas Point. I've been here 19 years now. I use the playground with my grandchildren. The bathroom is repressive. I go to other playgrounds and their bathrooms are clean and very up to date. Ours has been overlooked by our village for maybe 25 years. We've had many difficulties. I think we're taking it on. You guys own half of it. You guys should be giving us money from the budget for that bathroom because it really belongs to you. To all of us. It belongs to all of us. I don't like.
Yes, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about that tonight. That is something we'd love to talk about.
Get the motion so that we can go ahead with the grant, we can work out the details as we go along. You can send us the proposal.
We wanna
or
have you
tell
up
us
there.
what we need.
We want your help to get.
All right.
One of the questions that I have,
Sure.
if well, obviously the extent of the village's involvement is somewhat unclear to me still, like as far as what the, you know, if we're have to administer the grant and all that kind of stuff.
We would have to.
Right. Part of the question then for me becomes, does all this work have to go out for bid?
No, because it's under state
It's a state
contract.
contract,
Okay,
so that I understand.
okay,
So that's
Um,
good.
that is good.
So what do we need to exclude in this motion? You know, what are, so the water park? And then any funding, any of taxpayer money, correct?
Right.
Yes, so I think,
Or slash pay.
I think that for cooperation of the village,
We're only looking at
Are
right
we
now.
co-sponsoring the grant or are we?
yeah,
It's
I mean,
coming out.
we would be, according to this, it would be like the applicants would be the village.
Right.
Because. But we could put I don't know who you want the primary contact to be, but,
Josh, would you be the primary contact for this application?
That's up to Lori, you'd probably be.
Yeah.
I'd like to be copied in or involved, however possible, if that's easy.
So Lori Burbridge would be the primary contact,
That's correct.
and then grant writer.
When will the winners of this grant be announced? I didn't see that.
Sometime in August.
What happens if we don't get a grant?
There's lots of banks around here that will give Willow Park a. If we don't get a grant, well, there's a good chance that hopefully our fundraising is gonna get us to where we need to be for the playground. We're not quite halfway to the playground, but with the fundraising that we're going to do, the match from a game time. And so we're gonna be close. So if we have to scale down a little, we'll scale down a little. We'll know for sure, but we're gonna go through with our plans to get it to be the best we can. And as long as we have that 50% match on that equipment, it behooves us to get it done because we won that grant. So, and Fred, can you say anything about that at all?
Yeah, so on the matching funds for the game time side, so back to Lori's point, I mean, wherever the budget comes in, we will adjust and design accordingly and cost engineer and make it still a spectacle for people to arrive to, but we can reshape the port in place. We can take a few elements out. So the matching funds would be on the structure itself, so on the playground structure. And so depending on the size and scale of that structure itself, so the play system where the ramps are and where that tower structure was, that's what the matching funds would be available for. On all the other events, like freestanding events where you have swings, that would be best Omnia pricing. So we already have a pricing discount on all the freestanding equipment. And so it'd be a blend between the matching funds on the system and then on the freestanding equipment, there'd be associated discounts for each product. So again, like we showed, and I was flipping back and forth between a design without a lighthouse, with a lighthouse, we can do a lot of things to scale and cost engineer or get to the budget that the project needs to be built under.
Thanks, Brad.
So can I just clarify? I think you just said you had and I'm sorry, I'm walking into this kind of blind.
You're fine.
I think you just said you had another grant for equipment. Is that what you said?
That's what.
Oh, that grant.
That's the
Okay.
match.
So not from New York State, not like a real,
Oh,
like
no,
New York
no.
State grant.
We
Okay.
have like one from Wegmans. Okay, they gave us
Okay.
25,000
Okay.
for the playground. They have a specific piece of equipment they want. We'll
Okay.
do that. We've got a memorial tree coming up for a memorial garden. So there are other things
Okay.
in this. And we're trying to play all the
So
cards.
those are kind of like donations, right? Or
Sorry?
like more like donation, they're like a
The White
donation.
ESL were not donations, those were
No.
grants.
Okay.
Yeah, those were grants
Okay.
that she wrote for. and
Okay.
we were awarded.
We're very still.
Yeah, my only concern in asking that question is if we already got a grant from New York State, we probably wouldn't get another one. That's the
That's
question.
a.
Yeah.
And those were eliminated out of the grant.
If we got the New York Harvard grant, we would be having an entirely different.
Different conversation, yeah.
But it would still be the same, that would still be going through me.
Right.
But I didn't write that. And we weren't partners at Little Park in that, but Sharon Little and I had a great relationship on that part, so I don't see where that would. We would have, I didn't expect that we would have a problem in how to get the money to the proper vendor.
Do we think that we're gonna have the project, like in good enough shape to submit, like whatever we're applying for, like
Yeah.
the designs in good enough shape to apply for this
Yes,
grant?
because you haven't seen, we have all the boards and everything. We have a sheet that says the expenses of everything. It's all, actually, it's all in the master plan, if you really want to read
Yeah.
about it, which is on the village website.
Right.
So.
Okay,
And
as
then
long as I'm just.
That's the
sorry.
master plan from Barton and the Jews.
Yes, and that's our guide. The first slide he had, which was the picture that came from Barton with Judith. So those things are there.
And you've scaled down from that a bit,
I was
right?
just gonna
Yeah.
say, we've since gone, we just signed a contract with Hunt, and then we were looking at the actual design of the playground to try to cut some costs there.
So the 20% match, if you take the parking lot, and let's just say, I think I used the figure of about 150 because I knew we had in-kind service. We also had a survey that was done by the previous parties. That was $21,000. We used parts of that. We didn't use all of it. We did not remove everything that they said to, because it was all there. It was already engineered. Matt brought that to us. Phil brought that to us. We did an investigation. It's raining. It's beautiful. Well,
Yeah, no,
That looks
Parking lot,
great.
yeah.
John Woodland and the crew definitely did an excellent
did a
job
great
bringing it.
job.
It's very tight grades there. Thank you.
And
That's very good.
hey, what a partnership, but all that would be come into the in-kind, the $12,000 we're spending for the Hunt's architectural design to get it to fall into where we need it is already donated by the playground to do that, so that can be ready, so we can start going after that probably around January. And we will continue to write grants. So we've got some other grants out.
I don't think we should miss the opportunity. I mean.
No, you
New York
definitely
State's doing
should-
it, So.
should.
Gotta be a benefit.
Yeah. The
So I'll
only
just
other
have-
question, just for my edification, actually. I assume there's some kind of warranty on the equipment.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And have we looked at how this impacts, if at all, the village's insurance?
Yes,
Okay,
and we have a supplemental insurance, which is the day we start tearing this place apart. We will up, but for right now, we're only covered for the amount of money that we have.
yeah.
And we're with the same insurance company that you're with. And Tracy, did that ever come in?
And
Well, you got the copy of the check we sent, or the receipt, because I sent it.
yeah, but I didn't get, but, I think you were asking about our village, our insurance.
Yeah, I was thinking about long-term, like not the
But
construction
no.
part of it, but no,
Let me
okay.
answer, I fully.
Oh, we don't
understand.
know.
When I came on here, that playground was not safe.
Mhm.
We took ARPA funds to improve it. We did a lot of volunteer labor. I can tell you right now, it's safe. I won't be able to tell you that. That playground is 30 years old. And half of it's missing.
There's actually some, after speaking with Sam too, there are some elements about our playground that are no longer kosher. Like she was telling us about some safety things, and then when we went back and I was down at our playground, I was looking at the sign, it's like, that is not up to the current safety standard.
Correct. But it
So we need
passes
to-
for our
If we
insurance.
say that, we're gonna have to close it down.
No,
I mean, we don't
Our
wanna keep
green
saying.
benches that she and I painted are.
Gonna have to-
Yes, when you sit on them.
All right, I think we're getting a little deep here.
Yeah.
I think let's go on.
That's all we're gonna do. My fault.
They're through the municipality, and
let's-
Pat can sign. And we'll prepare
So
all that.
help me out with this a little bit. I'd like the motion that the village supports the Friends of Willow Park and then do we have to take the lead? Or-
Yes.
And that the village of Sodas Point takes the lead in the application process for the 2026 New York Place grant. And that the mayor provides a letter of intent and authorization to proceed. Is this?
Yeah, the
Pre-qualification of materials, the authorization to proceed with the submission of process is respectfully requested.
Partnership with Friends of Willow Park.
In partnership
Or
with,
in find money or for,
Partnership's fine.
yeah, partnership.
And we want to remove that.
okay. And then,
Yeah,
last part.
and this is approved without any water park or splash pad
Correct.
and without any taxpayer contribution from the village, but in-kind services provided by the village and private entities.
and I'm sorry, also with the understanding that the existing memo of understanding with Friends of Willow Park Inc. needs to be amended at a later date.
But
If
the
that-
existing MOU is extended with Willow Park.
We extended it last.
But not.
Well, it extended-
Amended.
Or amended to reflect what is necessary for the grant.
I second.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Passed.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Mr. Hard work.
It's
You
a
guys
long
have
road.
done a lot of work, okay? Not over, it's just starting.
Just when I started.
We gotta keep going for these grants if we're gonna get this done.
Did, and people I talked with, it, everybody has said that Willow Park is well positioned for this except you don't have to be. And I didn't even realize that when we put into the SFS. If SFS, when they have, I'm good with it, but I don't think they're going to.
No.
Yeah, we should waste our time.
We should waste
All
our
right.
time.
Pat,
you're
where we
good.
going?
You're good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Pat, what are we on to next?
We're gonna back up the agenda.
Gotta go.
Get yourself back up. the agenda,
Oh.
please.
What can we do? The Silver Waters?
Uh,
No, it's okay.
We got it still sitting.
I'm not gonna, you're not.
yeah, is that the other
Yeah,
next
Silver Waters, it's a letter.
volunteer
application.
application?
Was that what that is?
Yeah, there's,
You have, yeah, I was passing it around, Rich.
We'll do one more new business.
okay. Yeah, because they're in there.
Yeah, I see him back there, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take them both. No, they're two
Oh,
different
they're
ones.
for,
They were just to pass around for everybody to look at.
Oh.
real Fast. So we're doing
I think we
the
Silver
two,
Water volunteer.
okay.
they're.
So I have two applications here. Bill's just gonna look over my shoulder. One of them is from, Gabriel Karazinski. So these are volunteer positions, but they have to be a member. She is not an EMT, she's a student, a pre-med student, and she's just looking to offer an extra hand where she can and get some experience and put it on her resume. Karazinski's, you probably know Karazinski's are here in the point already, so she's pre-med at Clemson. The other one is Nicholas Polidori, Nick Polidori, and he is an EMT at in Victor Farmington. So he's already an EMT and would like to, he lives down here on the weekends and would like to help out, and that would be really good as well. They've been approved by Silver Waters has approved them both already for the volunteer position. And I would like to make a motion that we approve these two applicants.
I second.
All right.
Those are both volunteer positions?
Yes,
That's
yes.
a wonderful opportunity for them.
Yeah.
Get some experience.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Now back. to the-
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, have a good night.
Now, you're good with this one, right?
This is the original one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you're such a, we want to.
No, I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm good. I, but already. Okay.
All right, mayoral report. We're gonna do reports next. And just shout out to Scott Johnson and his crews. Had a couple of shout outs tonight, but deservingly so. We're gonna do our Sandbag operation. He was instrumental with our DPW staff, and you know, when our neighbors step up to help, you know, it shouldn't go unnoticed. And I just want to do a public thank you to him and 10 or 11 volunteers that helped us in a time of need, and hopefully we don't completely need it, but we're holding steady right now. Another shout out to my staff, my office staff. They've been diligently working on closing the year, doing numerous activities. It's, you know, my first time through, and it's been pretty impressive what they're getting done. So I want to just, you know, compliment and say something to them. And then we've already done it, but we're going to do it again. I just want another congratulatory and proud of our employees. The DPW did a great job with that parking lot. John's leadership and the people that just spent hours putting stone down and leveling. And then it would be remiss of me not to congratulate Matt. You know, Matt was also instrumental in the beginning stages and kept an eye on things as we proceeded. So I just want to, you know, DPW, job well done. You know, really appreciate you. Okay. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Teamwork, right?
Everybody.
Teamwork,
Yeah,
everybody,
always teamwork,
everybody coming
yeah.
together and doing some good stuff for the village, and that's what we're about. So, couple other things we had. I did do a debrief with Sharon Lilla with a New York Forward grant. Got some feedback, and when we create another committee, because we do plan on doing another application down the road, we'll utilize some of that information, you know, as we move forward. We did have, I also had a meeting with Phil. I call him the BNL engineering firm, but I got my own little acronym going. But we did spend a morning just talking. Phil and I were basically listening. They were just talking about their 2004, 2005 report, and you know, gave us some information. And I think in closing of that meeting, they offered, and I'm not saying we're going to do it. It's just I want to put it out there that they were willing to possibly do if we want to move forward a little bit with that and get more information, they would be willing to do a workshop with the board. And if you want to add anything else, Phil, to that, was kind of a basic listening.
Yeah, I mean, we have this water report it's still pretty new. Some of it was flawed, but we've corrected those flaws, identified them and had great improvements. We don't have the water loss to report. We had a 49% water loss for last we checked. I think it was under 10.
Yeah.
8%.
Yeah. So, so that was good.
Mhm.
And we started to address, we had some state health department concerns with the secondary connection up in North Geneva Road, which we've got. We hired our kind of our resident, I say resident engineer, but our go-to engineer has been Elliott for a long time for our wastewater treatment and our water system. So he won the bid last year and he's working on that secondary connection bid. We're hoping to see that pretty soon. It's been a year since I think we approved them, so I hope to see that soon. And then the water meters, John Woodland looked into rebuilding. We were spending a lot of money to replace meters because we thought that's where our water loss was. And we are losing some through that, but we're able to rebuild a lot of our meters at a fraction of the time. What's it, like $100 versus $300?
It's so for the rebuild kit, as long as the base stuff is good and we don't add like a video, receiver to it.
Yeah.
It was what, $30 for the
Yeah,
rebuild kit?
30 bucks.
You can read those from the car.
No, but we can outfit those, but it depends on how old the meter is. Some of the older ones, it's worth it just to buy the new ones, but the ones that are working, yeah, you can rebuild them for like $50.
Yeah, so
So.
our budget's tight and we just, we have a bad meter, at least we can rebuild it. We don't have.
The lucky thing is we were on T10s for a while, so we can buy. the
We do,
radio
and we
heads
have quite a bit of,
Yeah.
quite a few basins that are good and newer. We do have, anytime I see an older one, each notice how to identify those, I take them out and I just put a new one in. Cause I literally carry water meters with me right now, and any chance I can, I'm like,
So
give me a meter.
Barton LaJudas is looking to, and granted, it was a sales call. So, they're looking to get more engineering money out of us than that. So, they're offering grant services and that, and, we just have to go in eyes wide open to make sure we, as we have budget challenges anyways,
Correct.
but we do have, we do have to stay in compliance with the State Department of Health. So, we're kind of dancing a little bit there, but at some point, we're gonna have to make a determination. Do we want to do a large bonded project, which is gonna be impactful? One of the things that came out of the study is as high as our water bills are, we're in the lower third
Yeah.
in the state for a municipality quarterly, which I was shocked to hear. Not that I want to justify
No, yeah.
justify the bond project, but one of the things we did discuss was the longer we wait, the
More
more
expensive.
it'll be. So how far down the road do we want to kick the can? But we are, with all these infrastructure projects, the bond is 38 years.
Right.
For this type of infrastructure, so I said it several times, it's not received very well, but probably, with the exception of these two guys, we're not gonna be here in 38 years, So we're kicking the hand, yeah, that's the reality of it. We're selling the future. So,
Yeah, that's
just gotta be cognizant of it.
we were basically listening and I thought, that it was good start. And if we want to move forward, I think we would want the whole board to do a workshop with them. I don't think we're at that point yet, but
Well, I think we gotta get on the
Maybe
schedule
that-
if we wanna do it.
yeah,
It's just talk, we don't have to,
exactly. Commit. It's not a committal, but
everybody's gotta get up to speed. I mean, it's a $10 million project.
What is the?
So we have low water pressure in the Heights, which was previously an HOA many years ago. It went bankrupt, and that's how we ended up with a lot of the property in South Shore. But our water towers, and I have a hard time with engineers when they're wrong, but our water towers are not tall enough to give it. So we're in compliance. We need, what, 35 pounds of pressure?
20 is the minimum.
20 is the minimum. So that people in the Heights are at 34, is it?
For what? Their
For pressure, or is it?
Varies, but.
It varies, but
Yeah.
so we're meeting health department standards as far as pressure to the homes, but they do have low water pressure. So
we
part of it's putting,
we did a project in 2010. It did basically half the village.
yeah, it did the lower, I think it
Yeah.
did the lower part of the village, but the height.
Long story short, you probably have to look at the other half. And as Phil just said, it's an astronomical figure, and if you kick it down the road, that number just keeps going up.
Yeah.
So
So-
my house is like 35, 38, right?
Yep, yeah,
So I bought that pump and I create the pressure that. I
yeah,
need,
you
right?
bought a booster pump.
Why couldn't we put a pump on our system to?
Well, that's part of it. the pumps in that design, right?
No, you're basing, when you balance the system to it, I might be wrong on all this, I don't know. But, there's a balancing valve in there. So when we bring water in, we can't push more pressure than the head on the tank, or else it just blows out the overflow. So that's like even with the second connection, what they have to do is put another balancing valve in. And all it does is if this side gets low, then the balancing valve takes over and the pressure overcomes that side, but you can never push it higher than your maximum, you know, there's a figure for the volume of that tank, and then it's so many pounds per foot of water.
So we'd have to adjust the pressure.
No,
But there is a pump in
Height of
it
the
though.
tank times 433.
So we do use a
that's
booster
like
pump to get it to that tank.
But I think they're talking about a booster pump on the outlet. That's
Yeah,
what
so I think
were
what they
talking
wanted
about,
to do
which is
though,
pop.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, they can power just use a pump
booster
station
pump system, yeah, and then
Yeah.
just pump straight.
Or the other option, I think, was make the thing taller, and to me, it sounds.
That was cost prohibitive, I think.
That'd be-
Yeah, water towers in Northville.
But it brings me back to, who was our engineer to design that system? It wasn't right.
All right, so
No idea.
that's basically my report. Let's move on to the other reports. Trustee Madison.
Fire department, since mid-April, fire departments had 4 calls, a house fire in the village, a wire fire in Crescent Beach, so I'm sure they used the boat. An assist, EMS assist and a standby. You might have seen a couple weeks ago, the state fire trucks taking over the fire department. That was for the LiDAR scanning. They had the drones that were doing the LiDAR, which I didn't know that.
Have we
Upcoming,
seen that? Have we gotten
I haven't
that?
seen anything yet, no.
they've got some fundraising events, the Pot of Gold Dinner, June 6th, baseball game, June 20th, and that usually goes, they give that away to whatever. Every year they have somebody different that they give that to that in need, and a boot drive in August. Ambulance had 7 calls for the month of April. 3 of them were billable, 1 was canceled, 1 was deceased, and 2 were lift assists. New ambulance regulations, they got some new gear, some stuff to secure children on stretchers, little meters for the pediatric blood oxygen, and some airway devices for adults. It's something we're gonna be talking about forward this summer. We wanna have a community meeting. Ambulance expenses have been holding steady for the past several years, but revenue or the income has been decreased substantially. There's a lot of factors for this. We used to take care of calls outside of our area. We have a defined area. With Wayne County Ambulance, this doesn't happen anymore. Some payments, you never know what you're gonna get when bills are submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, insurances, that it doesn't go up always. If a second person, we have a single person, we need to complete a team, you have to have 2 people, or it gets a little complicated here, but basically you have to have 2 people to complete a team. And when there's only 1 and there isn't a volunteer or somebody else that they can get, or the fly car, in certain instances, they're not allowed to use the fly car to assist on, if it's a very simple thing like a transfer or something. So then they can't do that. So anyway, this past winter trimming cost, we didn't have anybody staff on the weekend, but we did had people, if a call came in, sometimes we were able to take it if there was somebody who had signed on in the village and they were able to come up with a second person. So, just that's a little background. Expenses through April 30th were 107,000 basically. Income was 52,000, or a little over about a half of expenses. But then there was also a debt payment on the ambulance of 22,000. On the plus side, there is a new state initiative that has just begun. I don't think it's going to affect us hugely. Medicaid patients that do not get transported, they can still file now. So if you don't transport, you don't get the money, okay? That's how it is now. But with Medicaid patients, if they don't transport, in certain situations, they can be billed if they sign off, and I don't know all the details. It's relatively new, and I don't know offhand how many Medicaid cases we have. There is a CPR and first aid class for the community, June 13th at the fire hall, put on by Keith Egner, who's trained to do that. $35. I'll have, the flyers have been put out, but anyway. Recreation, season has started. Information center is open. June 6th is the sail around the point. The Lighthouse concert, you've probably seen, they begin this Friday. It sounds like a really great group at the Lighthouse outside, bring a chair. Anyway, June 7th, they've got a jazz band, and June 26th, so they've got Friday and Sunday concerts. It'll be a country concert.
Kathy, I wondered about the Music Tuesdays. When does that start?
Music Tuesdays will be starting June 30th. Okay, is it June 30th? Is that a Tuesday?
I think,
And that will be every Tuesday, pre-concert in Ball Field. From 6 to 8, and there will be,
I went to a couple last year. and
there will be some new groups that are new to the area, actually, even.
Okay.
Plus some old good ones, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I need to get the whole, I don't think that's
Yeah.
been written up yet. June 30th,
I
yeah,
know
so,
last time you said you were waiting for like one.
Yeah,
new one.
but we're gonna have Corey Comer, who's already been in here at Sodas Point a while. He's gonna be the Tuesday after, like the next Tuesday, not the 30th. He's the next one. We've got Jen and Jeff coming back, for those that know Jen and Jeff. Anyway,
Jen,
be good concert, good music at the
30th.
point.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it a couple times.
Yeah.
Go down and sit down.
Yeah, no, it's
I actually
great.
ran into one of my son's friends who did it.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, thank you,
Well, yeah,
trustee Madison, trustee Leon.
Go ahead and read it here. John produced the water report up. Read it, John. The village's water usage for April was 2,142,000 gallons. Josh Craig and Kevin Drussel and John Woodland have completed the seawater classes. Additionally, Josh and Kevin completed water distribution class. Seasonal turn-ons are still happening. We've still been replacing water meters almost daily. We'll be addressing some of the maintenance issues and flushing hydrants over the next month. We have one new water tap on the schedule right now. Is that for the Big Daddy? Yeah, okay. Wastewater, Josh Craig has passed all his New York State testing to become a licensed operator. So we can now, we've already given the 30 days to TNT, 30 days notice that we won't be needing them anymore. So that saves us $7,500 a month. He's been working on maintaining the plant and servicing lift stations. We're still performing inspections of grease interceptors and trying to keep fats, oils, and grease out of the wastewater system. This creates higher operating and maintenance costs. We ask all residents to be mindful as what's going down the drain. And we do have our DEC inspection coming on the June 1st. So,
Okay, thanks.
Which I can be available.
Yeah, and you got, Bob Elliott's gonna come up too.
Okay.
Be here for it, so I think they'll. Guarantee, so.
Sometimes in that, the fewer the better.
Yeah.
Don, you want to do highway?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dave. It's too-
Oh, yeah, go ahead, you guys.
I kind of, well, you kind of covered some of this stuff, they said that we made 174,000 sandbags in anticipation for higher lake levels. Like you mentioned, we haven't had to place them yet. And that Scott's guys from JT Storage did most of the heavy lifting. Other than that, our crew's been busy with weekly mowing, weed trimming, brush pickups continued on a bi-weekly basis. We talked about paving and missile lot, some finished, gathering some quotes to get it straight. In the coming weeks, we'll be putting out hanging baskets in the cedar walkways at the end of the numbered streets will be placed. That was kind of back and forth of who wanted what there, so my plan is to put them out. And
I talked to the Streets Association.
Yeah.
You know, and we're getting a little conflicting information, but I think we're just best to put them all out.
Yeah. And in that area too, we put some signage on Wickham Boulevard, and it seems like there's still some concern about vehicles exceeding the speed limit. I was gonna talk to the Wayne County Sheriff, maybe see if they could, up their residence in the area or possibly do a study down there. I know they have different setups for, tracking speed limits and stuff like that. And we talked a little bit about potentially doing some removable, speed bumps.
John and I are looking into possibly doing that, just another avenue of slowing them down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just basing that off the,
What about just some speed limit signs to start though? Always come out with just no, permanent,
yeah, that.
15 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Is it 15 or is it 30?
It's 30, but that road's so small, if you go 32, it feels like I never go 30.
Yeah, especially when
20,
the curve is,
25.
I just, when you come out, they hit the stop sign, they come this way, there's not a speed limit sign
Okay.
right away, so.
Maybe look at them,
Um,
but the speed bumps are.
we bought the traffic calming ones for coming into the village here, maybe we can look into the electronic one, and every Bay Village along here, I've been, Wolcott and out to Fairhaven, they've got them too, so maybe, we look into it. Tracy, you remember how much those cost?
No, I don't. They were a lot.
I mean, are they 1,000, are they 3,000?
No, more than that.
Really?
Yeah. And were supposed to be reimbursed under chips, and they said.
They weren't.
Oh, really?
That's where we bought them.
I think if I remember right, they're like 4,500, 5,500,
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
cause they have a solar light on top.
Maybe we'll start with speed bumps.
Oh, I think the speed limit sign would actually be.
Yeah, I think we might have.
You talk to Will B, you said him come down.
But if it's not, well, technically, if it's not posted, I don't know if they can enforce it.
They sit at.
I'll talk to the county, the sign shop over there.
They got trouble with all that.
They should build something that comes.
That's
They go 30.
That's higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have an occasional.
You're
gonna get hit.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that we have a sheriff substation at the end of that street, we have what's going on.
Well, that's what I was gonna start with. I mean, they got a station right there, maybe
It's
see what they can
that
do first,
area.
but.
But I those things you drive past and tell yourself.
I just know that's what a big concern is.
John, anything else?
We're gonna start doing roadside mowing and asphalt patching over the next month as well, so. just wanted to keep an eye out, we're gonna be working on the roads.
Okay.
And details are being worked out right now for Lake Road paving. Hoping to get all that finished and bring something to the board next meeting,
Okay.
so. Yeah, gonna do some preliminary drainage work there, so be on the road there too. That's all I got for right away.
Thank you. Trustee Noah, you kinda did it. You kinda did it. Trustee Ashnaw.
All right, zoning and planning report. I had a few personal and professional obligations that got in the way of me attending some of the planning and zoning meetings since last month. So this is kind of brief, but the applications submitted between 4/20 and 5/26, there were no real significant denials of any of those applications. There was an application by Mr. Bogino, who was prospective buyer of the property at 8267 Lake Road, which is where our Turtles place is. And he was looking to, he's a prospective buyer of that property, and he's looking to make sure that he basically asked the zoning board of appeals whether that special permit would be extended if he were to buy the property, and their answer, at least as of this week, was probably, but once you buy it, you gotta come and do the application. But the indication essentially was if it's the same use, with the same density and all that kind of stuff as his current, they would likely allow that to continue. There was an issue with approved construction that was going on in TikTok Rocks before the issuance of a building permit, and that was that ended up resulting in a stop work order, which was put in place for about 6 hours, and the permit was then issued, and the construction continued after that. Just on 5/26 the other day, on Tuesday, there was a zoning board of appeals meeting, and at that meeting, Mr. Ebner from the planning board spoke to the zoning board of appeals about some concerns with regard to current and proposed zoning code provisions, and they were talking about potentially having a meeting about those to discuss some additional changes to the zoning code. And he kind of requested members of the zoning board attend and talk.
That
about
was
those
at my
issues.
urging.
Okay, yeah, and that is
Yeah.
something that was kind of planned. I think they came up with a date for a potential meeting, I think next
Good.
month.
Yeah, I'm meeting with, the planning board on the 15th at their meeting. They have some concerns about, the current building code, I think, or the zoning law doesn't address some of the concerns regarding massing and like appropriate uses, one right next to another, that type of thing. So I think they wanted to explore some additional language for the zoning code. I don't know the whole details of it, but we were gonna have a kind of a brainstorming session. They're looking at, and they asked whether we have a separate code for that or we put it right in the zoning law. And I said, it's easy to put it in the zoning law, or, you know, either way, it has to go through the approval process of a law. Like public hearing, you know, it has to be before the board for a certain period of time, all that type of stuff. So I think before we actually adopt something, we need to make sure, you know, I think the changes to the zoning law were, the impetus was the upcoming LWRP. But I think they wanted to step back and look at it from not just that perspective, from like the concerns that they've had coming up at their board meetings. So that's, I suggested what would be a good idea was to have all boards
Work together,
work together to discuss some of these issues that they keep having. And see if they can come to a resolution to recommend to, ultimately it's this board's decision.
What do you mean by massing? Are you talking about density or?
Yeah, density, like some villages have codes that say, you know, if you have a residential neighborhood, you can't build a humongous structure right next, you know, on one of these lots in the middle. So it was
They have so much green space.
green space, but also like height. Like if you've got all of these residential houses that are no more than 2 stories, you can't build something that's
3.5 story.
right. So those kinds of issues, I think, is what they're thinking about. I don't know all the details. I just suggested do it together so everybody's on the same page. And you know, and we can, well, it's easy enough to change the law. You know, it's just, you know, getting to the point where everybody's kind of rowing in the same direction. Because we don't want to have variances. The zoning board shouldn't be issuing a ton of variances. You know, only in like really wild circumstances should there be a variance. So the point is making sure both boards are understanding each other and understanding each other's concerns.
Is our current, like our current use schedule has like Vs for variances? I mean, a V should not be in there, should it be?
No.
I mean, it actually said you can have it with a variance. which
No,
doesn't
and
say-
to be honest, I haven't, I knew that there was a draft of zoning law and I have not analyzed it.
Our existing.
Oh, yeah.
It actually.
Definitely you need.
No, but it
better,
says a V, you know, it actually has
Yeah.
a V in there, right? You know, it's like.
Yeah,
should they think
and I think there's a confusion between like a variance and a special permit and when, like. I want to have a clear understanding of that, and I have not had time in the past few months to deal with that.
I've been trying to pull, excuse me, but I've been trying to plow through this thing and I don't see where it's gonna decrease our number of variances. I actually see like it's gonna increase.
It probably,
Process.
that's my concern, that's exactly my concern. is that everybody, like the zoning board needs to understand, like, this is what the village wants, the village board wants when you pass the law. Because the zoning board, every time you grant a variance, you're in effect taking over the responsibility of the village board, right? And so the zoning board has its own power and its own responsibilities. But we shouldn't be rewriting the zoning code every time there's a variance, right? Because it sets a precedent for everybody else. So that's why my suggestion was to get all of the boards on board and talking about these issues. Like,
Okay.
whatever it is, I don't have
Sure.
any skin in
Yeah,
the
we can do
game,
that.
but like, it makes sense to make sure, like, planning board issues a decision, and then it has to go to the zoning board, and the zoning board gives a and we're not, I don't know. It's just my observation over the last.
The flows.
I think it needs to be clearer in the law, like what the responsibilities are and what the vision for the village is.
Rich, anything else?
That's all for me, but I know,
I
no,
just
that's fine,
took over.
totally fine. No, I'm glad you did actually, because it adds a little perspective to that.
Yeah.
I know Kevin had some things to talk about.
He's next.
with the annual report.
Yeah, it's an annual. Yeah, so for 2025-2026, we had 112 total permits, $18,334.50 of fees generated. For the annual reports, we did the 1203 state audit, the boundary annexation, the census report, Genesee land survey. The fireworks are submitted, the permit submitted to the Coast Guard. My training is now completed. Department of State accepted the C&D water certification as personal development collective, so all those credits go towards code enforcement training. The Wayne County annual permit survey is done. The fair housing annual renewal survey is done, and the paperwork for CAB that you guys approved, with Brian White, McMahon LaRue, that is sent over to the DEC, so she's working to get that taken care of. So it's been pretty busy getting all that done. So the more we add every year, the more annual reports we get.
But
He just reminded me, just so everyone is aware, the DEC flood maps were, I'm sorry, the FEMA flood maps were just redone and finalized. And as a result, we have to redo our floodplain law. And everybody does, like, so I got from every municipality, I got this letter. It's like a form letter that they send, and we have to redo the floodplain law. So that's in process. I've got my paralegal looking at yours and like comparing it. I've had some arguments with the DEC in the past because the previous model code was not consistent with the building code. It was less restrictive than the building code.
Yeah.
So that's not enforceable. And so we can't pass a law that's unenforceable. So I just got it yesterday, so we're taking a look at it. And I'm making you aware that we have to get a draft approved by the board in draft fashion to them in August.
And I have a person working, I don't know if you remember Mary, she's come a couple times. So when we got notice from the DEC, I called her. She's working with Greece, Huron, SOTUS, Ontario, Williamson, us, well, not working with us, but she's just trying to get everyone. So I'll have her in touch with you. So
Yeah,
that she
I've
can
already-
get like one law with everybody.
Oh,
Now it's if you're, or she wants to get one law for everybody and then just like. copy and paste.
yeah, see, here's the thing, the DEC model law that
Yeah,
they
they
send
send-
out is,
Or I don't like it very much, the DEC one.
so I fought through it
Yeah.
with Huron's law last year I did.
Yeah.
And, I will have a law for my 3 municipalities, you know, like the ones that we have, we will have.
Can I put her in touch with you? Cause
Yeah.
she started working with all them and
Yeah.
so then I'll just have her piggyback with you and then
Yes.
that'll help like everyone on this
Yeah,
shoreline.
in town.
Yeah,
You know how many houses were added?
what,
I do not, I didn't see the maps.
Okay, so we don't.
to,
have
to it, I can tell you what was added. There's a spillway that goes up, Bay Street. I can just show you the map, but it's a spillway that goes up, Bay Street Extension and connects over to 8th Street, and then all of Lake Ontario shoreline is now a V zone. So they moved us to Oceanic, and then this is now an AO, which is sheet flooding instead of general flooding. So they kicked everyone back that was a map amendment. If you had a Loma, you no longer have Loma. They kicked you all back.
What's
in.
Loma?
Letter of map amendment or letter of map.
Oh,
amendment
yeah.
Based on Bill, Loma F. So they kicked you back out.
So everything in the numbered streets will have to have flood insurance
No, there
now?
are some that are 500 year instead of 100 year. It depends. You might not need it. The numbered streets are weird, but everyone from pretty much the pit stop down, including Bay Street Extension, is now part of the floodplain because of the spillway. So it's pretty large. They did a lot of work in mapping.
And it's been coming for they've been saying this for
Our old map was
A decade.
seven.
at least a decade. They've been telling me they were going to do it. So we'll do what we need to do. The maps need to be, you need to link to them on your website. We need to redo the law, like we'll
Yeah,
just
done
do
by
whatever we need to do. We'll get it
Done
done.
by August, right?
There's gonna need to be a lot of community teaching because AO, like our main flood zone, it's very confusing for people and no fill whatsoever in the floodplain anymore. So it gets very cumbersome chasing after people.
And the other thing too is, I just wanna, like, the building code for these areas, it incorporates like these humongous engineering documents, like, that are just crazy. So just be aware, like, any kind of construction in that area it requires a lot to get through code. So, all right, he just reminded me of that,
Sure.
like in his, and I just wanted to make you aware that that's gonna be coming.
We got 2 months.
Mhm.
You good, Rich?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, we're at the portion of public comments. Yes.
I live on Fourth and Wisham. You guys were talking about the speeding going on down there. Yeah, it is bad. To tell you the truth, it's really bad, especially the motorcycles. But you know, when you move here, you know that this is gonna happen. So I mean, you try to ignore it. But I'm telling you, somebody's gonna get hurt one of these days. Nobody stopped for me in the crosswalk. I mean, I've sat there and watched it. People with children and strollers. Yeah. And the other problem we have down there between Third and Fourth is the overhead lights that you guys put up. The village, all the way down through. That one has been out for weeks. So you might want to check on that one. But other than that, you know, it's just typical, you want people to come here, you gotta put up with it, I understand that, but. If you could do something, it would be appreciated, and I do know speed bumps would be expensive. I mean, I've seen them in WW Granger before, I'd go buy them and put it out there if you'd let me, because that's where it starts. They come around the corner, once they get to Third. They see Fourth and it's a straight away down to the other end. And they take advantage of that.
Yeah.
There were motorcycles out there the other day doing this down through those. Down through the cones.
So we'll contact the police and have them do their job.
Yeah,
So.
cause you need enforcement for
You need
sure.
enforcement.
But yeah, thank you for that, yeah. No, we've had a couple of complaints, so that's why we put those out, that's step one. Step two, John and I are gonna talk about possibly putting
Yeah.
we might have to purchase
Yeah,
some of
one of the
those,
stuff.
we just kind of. But I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to check on mine, but I mean,
Yeah.
They can unmute if they wanna unmute online,
okay,
they're set.
so old business, seeing anything, it was her slow,
Is,
but nobody.
Did anyone online wanna see?
No.
Yeah, you can unmute,
I see Maxine trying to do
Maxine's
something.
waving.
no?
No, I can just get it. Okay, so, we'll continue with new business.
Is she trying?
Yeah, she's.
Oh,
she-
Maxine, unmute.
You can unmute, you're able to.
Yeah, it didn't let me. Okay, thank you so much. I got a couple things to say. First of all, Amy, I love you. Thank you so much for hoping to make the planning and zoning board understand that variances go with the property. And we give way too many of them out in this village. I used to be on the planning board and also secretary of the zoning board. So I really appreciate what you're doing and educating them so that they understand that our laws should be set so we shouldn't have to give out a variance. And they don't, well, I know respectfully, I don't have to say anything because I know you'll do it. The other thing is, I don't know, I'm really happy that you made the motion and approved Willow Park. But I would like you all to replay tonight's meeting because there are expenses for the village. And Lori was very clear about that in the beginning. And even though the motion said that the village is not supposed to be funding any of this, I would just like you to review that because I do think the village is going to incur some expenses, not just the labor from our, various departments. So I don't see how we're going to be able to avoid that. The engineering alone for the flooding, or not for the flooding, but for the runoff is going to be a big investment and it's going to be a lot for those guys. It's not a typical drainage project. I worked for Wayne County Soil and Water for a number of years. We looked at this already because we were we were applying for a grant to put up, not a kayak launch, but a launch area in Willow Park, right there where yeah, that's all I can say. You guys know, so that's it. Thank you very much for allowing me to comment.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's anybody else, I don't think so, it's unmuted, I know Scott, he's not coming, he's just watching. Okay. Move on to new business. Yeah, letters requesting forgiveness on village water and sewer.
So we received two, and I just wanted to read that, so we've had, it's a water bill relief in extreme circumstances. Was a law or a rule that we agreed to back in 2007, August of 2007. And it says that in those rare instances where unusual high water consumption can be provable, attributed to a water leak unknown to the homeowner, the current billing practices would be capped at the regular amount at the quarterly amount, and up to 50,000 gallons. Any consumption over that we would charge at the village's rate. So the first request is under 50,000. So that doesn't fall under this. It falls under this. And then the second one, they knew they knew all along that there was a leak. So neither one of them can fall under our
Forgiveness.
forgiveness.
Policy.
So I don't know if you guys want to just make a motion, just saying that either one fall under that, or if I can just write a letter to both of them stating that.
Who are the people?
So the one is Larry Monheim. He is down on Greg. And the other one is Emily, I think it's Caesar, is how you say her name.
Oh, my.
And she is on Second Street.
See that shed?
So,
Well,
Is that the shed guy?
no, that's a different person. Larry Monheim is across from Wolfit, next to Brother Weeze.
Oh, okay.
Do we need
so I mean, if I would prefer that you just, you
no
know,
motion?
make a motion to do something, you know.
Decline the request because it doesn't fit our,
Within the policy.
is there a motion to do that? By the
Just
board?
let them both know.
I don't know what they're rich.
What's that?
How did you make that?
All right. I would move to decline the request for forgiveness. The two requests for forgiveness, because the requests don't fall within the exceptions that were previously adopted by the board in August 2007.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Quotes for wastewater to be blower VFD.
Alcino is 10,991.35, and then Custer is 9,541.67. You probably don't have that, because.
I think I got both. I got both.
Usually, but yeah.
This took me a while to get through it.
So there's a second Calcino one, but that's for.
That's the generator, that's the one that after.
Oh,
The first one is just the two. The VFD that. Had. A power surge problem. What I'm told.
Is there any,
John, is there?
John, is there a,
So we had a hard time kind of sourcing this particular model of, it's a driver for the blowers that ramps it up and down to save energy. And we had a hard time finding people to source it, and we came up with Calcium and Kester. I don't think there's any, I would go with the lower bid,
Which one's the lower bid?
that would be Kester.
Oh, go.
you said you would or would not?
I would, I don't have any reason to believe that's a lesser product, you know.
I feel
So
good.
our
about
current
it.
blower or whatever it
you've
is,
had experience with?
Yes. Okay. I know people that.
Yeah,
our current one is bad.
yeah,
We had one burn out, so we stole it up. Another one, but now we don't have our backup.
Oh,
So we have our
Yeah, you have to have the back.
yeah.
There's a back.
And the blower. People don't understand the blower provides the oxygen to the digester. Without it, we're out of business.
So we just need a motion.
Sewage treatment.
I motion that we approve the
Custer.
Custer.
Yeah.
For the blower for the sewer department.
Second. All in favor?
I.
Opposed? Carried.
And then the next one is called, that is the generator services and the current. The people who.
Mike.
What's their name?
Power generation.
No, Power Generation. Power Generation is who we have our current contract with, apparently being retired. And so we do not have a second quote, we just have this quote. And
What did we pay last time?
It wasn't for lack of trying.
John, yeah, it's John.
Was it, what did we pay last time?
So, but
About the same,
Can you-
4,000?
John,
Yeah, it's actually a little bit less, I think.
Oh,
just
okay.
for the record and for the auditors, how, did you make phone calls? Did you look on the
Yeah.
interweb? What did you? do?
Yeah, so it was hard finding somebody who does industrial generators, surprisingly. There was a ton of companies that do like home generators. I did reach out to a company out of Rochester. I didn't hear back from them. I mean, I sent 2 emails, so I
That's all
don't
you
know
can
if
do
it was
is try,
I also reached out to Suncor, which Bob LeMay lives right on Lake Road here in the village, and they're out of Palmyra, and
won't do.
He didn't, no, I think he could do the service on, I think the electric side of the generator, he
Okay,
did it.
okay, so.
But I tried,
Have you, called me. To,
and I can send you his information, so.
right, perfect, because I just need.
Yeah.
No.
Motion that we
Yep.
right?
I motion that we accept the quote for the annual generation for generator service inspection in Calcino for $4,035.25.
I second it.
All in favor?
I.
Opposed? Carry.
Contract for staffing services, EMS staffing.
Somebody gonna talk on Kathy?
So, yeah, sorry, I don't have the agenda in front of me, it's in the middle here. So they never came up with, we were still going around, so I talked with, Pat this morning, and they hadn't given us, really what the Silver Waters had approved, which would have been 5 days in the off season and 7 days in the main season. So, and Bill left. All right, I didn't realize that was part of it. So I think what we're gonna do is go back to them and just ask for 3.5 months, 4 months to get us through this village meeting, community meeting, and then reassess it at the end of the summer. I was not able to get any sort of a contract the way that they had done this, so I'm hoping we should have it by the next meeting, which is June 18th. So it's my intention that, I've gone back, or I've let everybody know whatever, that it's probably best that we just do 3.5 or 4 months, which would take us through. It would start from June 1st retroactively, which they're okay with that. Take us through, September 15th or September 30th or something like that.
15th, yeah, 6
So
or
just
15th.
so table it, table.
Table it until the next thing. So there's also
Just
a
a table.
second, which I did send out. There is a second proposal, which the contract kind of reads right, but I want you to go through it too, because it's like 6 pages or something.
Yeah,
Um,
and I printed all of these out and started reading them and realized I had like 3 different contracts, and so
Yeah.
I'll get with you
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
sure we have whatever.
yeah, we have the 3-day one. So the idea is that if you don't, the long and the short of it is, if you don't have a second person on your team, whether it's one of these volunteers who signed in, they sign in online, or somebody else that's on the job, it's hard, because it's all a matter of time. They got to get people out there. So you have just a very short timeline in which to respond and say, hey, I can come up with 2 people or something like that, or we have, we can do that. That's the simplest version of it. So they would like to add a second person, which, and the contract numbers are correct for that. It comes out to about $29 and change per hour. They're all in. We hire a company that hires the medics. They would like to add a second medic, not like we had last year and the year before, and I will have all those numbers. But just for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and blow off day, and Labor Day, that Monday. Okay, it's 41 days or something like that. Again, it's like $29.50. Silver Waters is offered to pay 50% of that. I know there's, and Tracy, you will attest to this for sure. There's additions. If we get a call, a half hour before the guy leaves, what is he gonna do? Say, oh geez, I gotta go, I got a date tonight or something. That's not what they do. They go, and there's an extra hour and a half or whatever. So anyway, that's what I propose we'll have for next meeting and in sooner time, so everybody, you can have gone over it, but it just
Yeah.
did not happen, okay?
Yeah, and I want to talk about, from a budget perspective, we just finished a budget and, you kind of got to look at where we're from, where are we now, where we want to be, from a budget perspective. And, that we can't, it's tough for us to sustain losses, okay? And so we want to talk with Tom and Bill and we're gonna get the four of us together
Yep.
and meet in early June.
I think they understand.
And I think they understand too,
I
yeah.
mean, it's great that we got 2 new volunteers.
I think that's awesome.
That's awesome.
And it may be, I think when this is brought to the community, I would like to think in my mind that there's a lot of support for the ambulance, and maybe there's some deep pockets that can come up with some money, I don't know.
The only problem I have with it is that the guy that's there, he's only there from 8 to 4.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we're 1/3, we're taking the Russian roulette saying that somebody's gonna get hurt.
it's
During
been
that
like
time,
that, it's
yeah.
been like that since the beginning. It's been,
Right, I'm just saying,
one shift,
it's,
But
now
I know,
we're-
it is Russian roulette.
How much
Yeah,
money is
volunteers.
Silverwater sitting on?
Undisclosed.
30,000, something like that.
I think we gotta have that number before we make any.
See, and then the other
Yeah.
thing you said is that we're a B, not an A, we're not advanced. So if certain things happen, like it's a
Wayne
really
County takes over
difficult,
anyways.
like, person that needs really a lot more help, right?
Wayne County takes
Then
over.
we can't touch it.
But that's kind of a little misnomer. So some of the worst ones that are truly hinging on time are choking and heart attacks, okay? The B, they can handle that. I mean, the CPR training, they've got machines, they could do
Right.
put the whatever breathing thing in there. So where an A could do it is medicines. So if it is a situation, like it is a heart attack, that first thing to get,
Yeah.
get CPR going, that is the most critical thing. Certainly, you'll get another medic that will get involved in that for sure. And it can still be Civil Water's, their bill, their right to whatever. So it's not like, oh geez, they can jump in on anything, and it's truly the very first aid, so choking, CPR, they are fully trained in that. They're trained in, the A's do medicine. That's what they do. They do additional things. So that's, and they can, there may be even more advanced equipment, but I'll tell you that the stuff that they come up with that they can do, don't say that that these guys aren't gonna be able to save you in that first instant, because they can.
Yeah.
So in a perfect world where money isn't finite.
Yeah.
We get a budget out of them, like if we really wanted to run this thing at the highest level, can we get an idea, just moving forward, how much money do they really need?
What do you mean at the highest level?
Well, just, at a level that, like, it's without, like Matt says, you're just, you're spinning the wheel on, when you have your heart attack or when you have your choking incident, we only got someone on the clock 8 hours at a time. If we had to staff it better at prime season times and just, what kind of budget does it really take to have an ambulance that's gonna be staffed and ready to go?
Wasn't it a lot? Was it a lot?
So,
Yeah, what I'm saying, and I don't need this answer right now, I'm just looking,
Maybe.
it's like we have this somewhat comfortability of having this local ambulance. But it's only some of the time, and it's if the second person can show up, so I mean.
true.
So even the time that we have someone on staff full time, what are the chances that that second person is gonna make it there in time
And
for that heart attack and that choking incident and that fall or whatever?
well, one
You know,
person can jump in on that, because one person can get, choking's one person thing, and yes, CPR works better.
Can
than
the
second.
ambulance leave the hut? Can it leave the garage?
Oh, yes.
for one person?
Yes, it can.
Okay,
It can go to the scene. It can't go to the hospital.
okay.
So.
Cause they need somebody in the back.
I just don't know this stuff. I'm
Yeah,
not being
no,
overly
they can
critical. I
go-
just wanna know.
Yeah, no, they could go to a scene. So then it becomes, and what often happens is a fly car will come in with a, a high level of medic that can, and you've seen fly cars sitting around. That medic has hopped in with the ambulance, and there may be 3 medics in there, it just depends. And they're headed wherever, because that's an advanced medic. What's gonna happen, there's 2 new ambulances that are starting with Wayne County. They're gonna outfit their new ambulances by pulling a fly car off the day shift and a fly car off the night shift. In Wayne County, currently, we have 3 fly cars during the day that roam around. So they can complete several waters, not a problem. 2 at night. What's happening is they're gonna take 1 off of each. So we'll have 2 fly cars during the daytime and 1 at night. So that's gonna reduce that ability. But when you say that, so we are still paying less than what the medics start at over at Wayne County. At Wayne County, the medics over there start in the range of $29, what they're making an hour. $29, $30 an hour, and an EMT, I think, gets more than that. I mean, we've been lucky to have Keith. It's $23 plus the extras take it up to what we're paying EMS services, the staffing company is 29 and change. It would be difficult to get, you would be paying more money if you wanted somebody sitting here overnight and then to complete that service. It's an uphill battle.
I see that. I just say, if we're gonna have a community meeting, it's just, to
Yeah.
have this moving, and we need a number to talk about,
Yeah.
I think. And,
We're doing a lot more money.
if the community,
Yeah, we're talking-
wanna get behind it, and we got a budget for that, then, the community's gotta say, yeah, we're gonna take a 20% tax increase or something to
Yeah,
cover the
No,
annual.
we have to have a hard number.
Yeah.
Right.
Not the hardest number, but we gotta have a realistic number to talk about.
right.
And then you put, to the community, are you willing to take a 20% increase on your village taxes to maintain the ambulance? And I don't know if 20% is enough. It might be 30, it might be 15.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you gotta put it to the people, and it's,
Well, and
Yeah.
I did talk about this briefly with Pat earlier today. And to your point, people need to understand what their taxes go to. And this is a lot of tax money. So if there's a big increase, you want to make sure it's somehow clear on the bill what this money is for. And there is a way to do that. The town would have to get involved, but you could form an ambulance district.
I've seen it.
And, you could, just like you have I don't know if you have a fire district or something on your bills.
Usually a library.
Yeah. So that is possible. It could be done through it would be done through a petition. So community members, if you've got over 50% of the homeowners in, let's say, the village to sign a petition saying they wanted this, the town would then create a district, and that the ambulance would be a separate line item. So it wouldn't be part of the village budget. It would be a separate line item on the town bill. But right. But the benefit of that is that, and I'm not advocating one way or another, but when you give people a large tax bill, they're, they don't necessarily understand what that money is going for. And so if they really want an ambulance service, it may make sense to separate that out so that they understand that that's what they're paying for. If it's a large, I don't know.
And the cautionary tale to that, so I own a property in the town of Gates. I've had it over 30 years, and I watched the fire department go from a volunteer to a paid, went the paid dispatchers, and then went the full paid fire department. The fire department district or line on that tax bill is bigger than the town tax.
Yeah, I live right near there,
Yeah, so
so I do know that.
But what,
that's the cautionary tale. So
I mean, this is gonna be all dependent on the
But-
village.
but what you're saying.
Yes.
I don't think.
What you're saying and what you may not know is in the town of Sodus is one of the Wayne County ambulance
Yes.
bases, okay? which is staffed 24/7.
No, I do know that, because I
Yeah.
represent SOTUS as well,
Yeah,
but, with a district, it would be just,
So we've never been able to do a bit district.
villages can't do district.
I just want to stop
Right.
the conversation.
No, I'm saying the town,
But
if
yeah,
if
said it.
the people of the village
So then-
want a district, they can petition the town to create a district. And
You know,
I'm happy to do that.
I'm not saying to do it, I'm just saying, yeah,
What the process.
yeah.
It would be your town
Yes.
taxes you'd pay for silver, for
Whatever.
Wayne County ambulance, and you'd pay for Silver Waters ambulance.
Yes,
That's what we would be paying.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, twofold, two, yeah.
So,
And I don't know,
but honestly, people need to understand what they're paying also.
But I,
Or do they
I'm
not
not,
want to pay?
I don't know how that.
Exactly. You need a community meeting for sure.
I don't know
Like
how.
whatever.
And see how much it would cost.
I was
Let the
just
village- let the village-
like spitballing.
That's-
to try to figure out-
Want to kick in an extra, how much
They would-
money?
I think-
Collect money for us.
Yes. Yep,
They would give.
they would
Alright.
pay it.
We're good.
The district.
Alright.
would pay it.
Yeah, we'll, like I said, the four of us
People.
will meet.
yeah,
and
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll get the information and we'll get it to you, hopefully, either.
Yeah.
28th or.
and
July.
as I said, it was forever it's like hen's teeth trying to get this contract, and I want you to look at it, Amy, so.
Yeah.
We'll do a contract to hold us over, and the contract, the way it's written, I'm not a lawyer, but we can, and we have through the winter said, you know what, we're not gonna work as much, we're not gonna do the
Okay.
weekends to save money, so there's some
Okay.
verbiage in there that says we can make some changes.
Okay,
But I do know if we were ever to say, okay, we're done with the ambulance or something, I'm not saying that at all, I really would
Right.
like to have an ambulance. It's a 30-day thing that with the state or whatever, you can't just shut the door.
I mean,
You
the
gotta
fire
wind
department
it
is
down.
volunteer, right? So if we got a lot of volunteers, I mean, right now, we're 2/3 volunteer. When I leave this place and go to work in another town, you guys aren't coming to get me if I got a problem. You know what I mean? So, I mean, not, a lot of the people that are here leave to go to work in another town.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's my thing, is if we got volunteers, which we do, like Tom Hakunka, Bill Kalush, and now these two new guys. There's other volunteers.
or do
that-
you wanna switch the staffing to the evening hours? If people are going to work out of town, I don't,
That's when- that's when they're-
Rates will go up because
So
I don't think
we're-
we'll have the guy that we have doing it,
Second.
and.
Well, we got volunteer fire department, why can't we have a volunteer ambulance?
You know, the
Both
ambulance
things.
folks, I'm not sure how many hours they have for their EMT, but it's like 200-300 hours just to get the cert, and then every year there's stuff you gotta do.
It
I
is.
mean,
Yeah.
the firemen have to recertify also, I get that, but
Hmm.
in the real world, these guys are only looking, the guy we approved, he's only looking to put,
Some on the resume.
he's here on the weekends and he'd like to maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
So we're gonna table this till June, the contract? We're not gonna-
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
because I don't have,
Let's-
Motion to table the,
do we have to make?
No, you don't need.
No.
okay, so,
Need to move on.
So I
Yeah,
got.
let's go on to the next one. Resolution to create lead water and sewer operator position. This is a sequential step thing, so we want to create the position. And we did a building board resolution, I'll read it and then hopefully get a motion. I gave you some job descriptions, that was from civil service. In Wayne County, you can just read that at your leisure, okay, it's nothing to do tonight.
yeah,
And then, Tracy and I have an ad set up that you have to advertise the position, and it's gonna be running through June 10th. And then after that, I looked online in Indeed today, and there was a newer ad, and it's been in there for like a month or two. You're not getting a lot of people.
that qualifies.
Yeah, so, and obviously, we know we have one internal person that's very interested in the position and qualified, so. But we're going through the process, and if I have to interview outside, I'll do that.
Yep.
And then in the next meeting, probably we'll look at a memorandum of agreement, with the union to, adopt.
Yep.
Won't ratify until, we have to adopt it first and then they'll ratify it afterwards. So, but that's the sequential stuff I just wanted to share with all of you. And, so anyway, let's see if we can do the, village board resolution. I'll read it. Creation of lead water and sewer operator position and approval of, well, delete that one. We're not gonna do the approval of a memorandum of agreement with Teamsters. We'll line through that.
Yep.
Whereas the village of Source Point recognizes the need for continued operational leadership, regulatory compliance, such planning, continuity with the sewer and water departments. Whereas the village has determined the creation of a lead water and sewer operator position will strengthen departmental oversight, employee training, infrastructure maintenance, emergency response, and operational accountability. Whereas the proposed position shall operate under the direction of the public works supervisor, important point, and remain within the Teamsters Local 118 bargaining unit. Whereas the village and Teamsters Local 118 have negotiated a memorandum of agreement, and establishing a position, qualifications, duties, reporting structure, and bargaining unit status. Whereas the village currently has an internal bargaining unit employee serving in an understudy capacity within the water and sewer department, who has successfully completed required training and passed all examinations necessary to obtain required New York State licenses associated with the position. The village board recognizes the value of internal workforce development, operational continuity, institutional knowledge, and succession planning through consideration of qualified internal candidates. The proposed position and appointment process remain subject to Wayne County Civil Service rules and regulations. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the village board of trustees hereby approve the creation of the position. And be it further resolved that the board approves the proposed job description for said position, and further resolved that the board authorizes the mayor to execute the memorandum of agreement. Got a line through that, right? Line through that, sorry about that. Be it further resolved that the position will be posted in accordance with collective bargaining agreement and civil service requirements. Be it further resolved that qualified internal candidates shall receive consideration consistent with contractual provisions, qualifications, licensing, seniority, operational experience. If we have 5 people going for it. Be it further resolved that the village attorney is authorized to review the MOA resolution and job description for legal sufficiency prior to final execution. And be it further resolved that the village clerk is authorized to submit all required documentation to the Wayne County Civil Service for classification and approval. That application will happen. I mean, that's the application process. So we'll have either Josh or whomever fill that out and to proceed. Okay. I didn't give you a copy of that, but that's a kind of a generic form. Is there a motion to create this position?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. But we'll delete them, sir. Thank you. And I think we're gonna move on to clerk treasurer. Bills and
So
transfers.
first, it's 5/1 through 5/44, totaling 96,528.15, general fund 57,606.35, water 12,370.33, and wastewater 26,551.47. That's just a little bit, guys.
I move we pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And then I also I've got a whole list of budget transfers that have to be done by the end of this month to make accounts whole. The first column is the dollar amount and where I'm moving the money from. The second column is where the money that is in that has a deficit. So it should be more than that. I need a motion to accept that. So that I can.
I
Close
move
the
that
year.
we approve these budget transfers
You look at
that
those.
you have listed.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then also,
Opposed?
oh,
No,
Do
someone
those.
was.
No, nobody opposed, but I gotta do it.
I should do it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Carry, carry.
Alright, and then the next one is because. As you can read, with this first one, I had money to move to put into the ones that had the deficit. Wastewater, I did not have that money anywhere, I fell short. And so therefore I have to take it from the fund balance. And so you have to do a resolution which explains, and I put in here that one of the reasons is that we fell short with we have a credit balance of 42,000 for our solar credits that's unattainable, and so therefore we're falling short because we can't attain that. And so we're 32,820 in that's what the negative balance is in for our power and electric and power. So
We gotta read that.
I have to take, yeah, I mean, should I read the whole thing or you guys read it?
Do we have any way of getting that? down?
Amy, do we have any way of getting?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We signed on for a solar,
I PC'd you in.
Oh,
And we got that response, that lame response, I mean, I'm just gonna be very lame response, and they said, oh, oops, we don't have a company that's doing our allocations properly, and, you know, it is obtainable. But every time I ask for it,
Oh, I'll write a letter.
they will not give it to us. And
All right.
our genie says that it has not, they
It has
feel
nothing to
like,
do
you know, they're like, we can't help you. It's the solar company. So we are up to 42,851 of a credit
That we can't.
that we can't. And now we're in a deficit of 32,820.
Okay. Can you
So-
just forward me that and I'll write a letter.
That would be amazing.
Okay.
If that had happened, I went back, it was a year ago. That
Like whatever the contract
I
was, like
sent
send me
to
whatever.
them. I sent to them and said, we are having to pay and we have to cover a budget that is overstated by this amount. I literally a year ago, and they were like, oh, and I actually Whit was a trustee at the time. He tried, we had meetings and they were gonna fix things and everything was we were working in the right direction, and literally a year has gone by and.
do they fall under the Public Service Commission at all because they're producing electricity? Is it?
I can figure that out. I just don't
I
know
don't
about
think-
it. Yeah.
If there was some.
I'll send you.
I know
that
some
we can
people.
put on.
It's pretty painful. I
Yeah,
have to do this.
And it goes up every month,
Knowing.
and then they
that-
charge us.
I mean, we could sue them. I mean,
Well, let's see what you can do.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so anyway, we have to do this.
Resolution.
Because
Yeah.
we do not have,
We already.
so it's just coming from the fund balance
Kind of read it,
to
so.
cover it.
All right. I'm gonna read it.
You wanna read it out loud or
Yeah,
have
sure.
everybody read it?
This is the 2026-5 resolution amending the 2025-26 sewer fund budget. Whereas the Village of Sodas Point entered into an agreement with Kendall Sustainable Infrastructure.
Not me. Oh, me.
Recycle.
Receive CDG Sodas Solar Credit offsetting energy bills for the wastewater, the WWTP operations. And whereas the village's RG&E expenses continue with an unobtainable bank balance of 42,851.39 with CDG Solar, and whereas the budget for electric and power is unstated, with a deficit of $32,820. And whereas section 5-520 of the village law allows the Board of Trustees to make budgetary amendments for unappropriated, unreserved fund balance when it has determined that an amount is available for appropriation. And whereas the Board of Trustees has determined that a significant amount exists for the purpose intended. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the appropriation of the sewer fund balance in the amount of $32,820. It is hereby resolved that the village clerk / treasurer is authorized to make budget adjustments to reflect the amendments.
We have a motion,
Motion to accept the.
Motion, yeah.
Yeah.
Motion to adopt the resolution,
Yes.
resolution 2026-5.
So
I'll
that's.
second.
all in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed? Carried.
And then there's another, this one in looking at the budget and, this is another resolution that I would like to put in capital reserve for fire equipment. The 15,000 that remains in the unexpended for the fire department. So that's just
Just a
another,
movement,
to put it into, capital reserve.
Would this be 2026-6 then instead of 5? Because that last one was 5.
They're all, wait, so this one will be at 5A, or A, this is B, and then this will be C.
C, that'd be
The fire department is the,
5C.
The resolution will be 2026-5B, or 5C, sorry, 5C.
what
Because
was
they're all
the?
5. The last one was.
Oh, this
Okay,
one.
Fred.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
They're
So
all
what you're
five.
saying is you're taking their money and put it into their capital fund
Correct.
Yeah.
Reserve.
for like something for
For
a fire truck or
equipment
something
and
like that.
yes.
Yep, okay, so I like that.
Yes.
Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Does it need to be read?
If you want to.
Resolution to appropriate fund balance to the village's capital reserve for fire equipment presented by trustee
Well, we have
Madison.
Madison, seconded by trustee. Don't all talk at once. Ashno. Whereas section 5-520 of the village law allows the Board of Trustees to make budgetary amendments for unappropriated unreserved fund balances when it has determined that an amount is available for appropriation. And whereas the Board of Trustees has determined that a significant amount exists for the purpose intended, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the appropriation of general fund balance in the amount of $15,000 to the fire equipment capital reserve for fire equipment. Further resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the clerk treasurer to do the necessary accounting entries to accomplish the foregoing.
So we're moving money out of the general fund into the fire equipment reserve fund.
Correct.
Yeah.
From his fire department. They
It
did.
was their money.
So it doesn't
Line
roll
item.
over, is that why?
Yeah, so it doesn't just go into the regular
Fair
fund, so then it will be.
Keep it
earmarked
specific.
Earmarked for
them,
them.
For fire department.
Yep.
Okay, so all, everybody okay with that?
All in favor,
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
opposed? Carried. Just within that, you have the trustees.
So we're not doing this last one?
Well,
The,
this one we already did.
no, we were gonna hold on, oh, okay. Yeah, we crossed off, yeah, we crossed off the, yeah. Yep. We're good.
Okay, and then we have other business and we'll. Be able to, we just need a motion to go into executive session.
Do we pay the bills?
Yep.
Yep. I move that we go into executive session to discuss personnel matters.
Yes,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Are we gonna make any decisions after
No, we're done.
No.
We're done.